welcome to the show, everybody. Happy to have you here. It is a grim gray day for me. I've got what is this? A half a cup of cold coffee. But hey, I'm sitting with friends. I'm going to have some fun chats with the chat. So that should be good. Although yesterday when I was coming home from my weekend holiday, my wedding anniversary there, Thundero, uh, from around, I don't know, noon, it was as if it were 8 o'clock at night. My
Excellent.
goodness, how freaking dark. It was raining heavy the whole way, but it's rare that you get rainy days that are that dark, right?
Yep.
Just
hmm
heavy, heavy,
Yeah.
deep clouds, right? Every now and then. But I made it home. I'm not dead.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
That's number one.
that is number one. It is, yeah. But how was your weekend, dude?
Um. Well, let's see. It was a very adult weekend.
Oh, nice. Ooh,
Let's
sexy
see. We
time.
went.
Sexy time.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a given. But we also raked up all our leaves, dragged them out to the curb,
Oh,
cleaned up the yard. Did adult things,
that
Chester.
kind of
Things that you
adult.
have to do.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that kind of adult shit.
Yeah. And then today I've done basically nothing. I fell asleep super early. See, for me, I'm a night owl. Very. I like to stay up real late. I just always have. I don't like getting up in the morning. Even if I get enough sleep, I usually don't like to get up in the morning. My body doesn't like it. Um, but last night I fell asleep. Oh, I don't even know. Probably around 7 o'clock, and I slept all the way until like 8 o'clock. I have no idea why. My body was just like, you know what? We're
Yep.
sleeping,
Catch
and
up.
that was it.
It's catch
Yep.
up.
That
It
was it.
is. It's interesting. I went over here to Twitter and hit, of course, I hit the like share button. I'm also, I'm sharing it on Twitter, as I hope everyone does. Let everybody know where you're in. They might be, these few shows of the, daylight savings is always confusing. Hopefully, America will end that shit. There's something that Trump should do right there. Just, get that done.
Mm.
Let's just get that done. Huh? But it is funny, though. I open up here on Twitter for my share, opens up the page. And the very
hmm
first thing I see is let me read the headline to you. You ready?
Oh.
Iraq is legalizing child marriage and lowering the age of consent to just 9, as Mohammed did, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's great. We were really successful over there in Iraq, I have
Yeah.
to say.
And
We did a
Afghanistan
good
did
job.
great.
Yeah, we did good.
Yeah.
We did good.
Brought them
Yeah,
democracy.
yeah. hmm
No, that is the flavor of American politics. Whether it's conservative or not, doesn't matter what color of flag they're waving. That has to die. This idea that you can force people to be liberal is, well, it's just retarded. It's completely ahistorical. It's not the reason why the West has liberalism. It
No,
wasn't forced upon anybody.
it never
Uh,
was. Yeah.
we evolved it. Not we. It didn't evolve us. We evolved it. It took us about 5,000 years to do it. So trying to force people who are simply not capable of even really fundamentally understanding it
Yeah.
on force this onto these people is never going to work. Like, what are
No.
we doing? This doesn't
I
work.
I
It's
think
it's kind of what we should do. Unironically, Chester, is listen to the communist Gene Roddenberry
yeah,
and
yeah.
take a hit from his work, and we just let cultures be. We
Yeah.
just we just pull out
Yeah.
and let them be and leave them alone because it's the only way that works. You
Yeah,
have to let
well,
them get there on their own.
I do have a response to that, but first I'm enjoying my spirit animal. I finally in my life have found my spirit animal. It only took
Uh oh.
54 years. Watching Joe Biden walk in the sand. Damn,
Oh
dude.
no.
That's just special. That's special. No, seriously, go find the video on Joe Biden walking in the sand. It's amazing shit, dude.
Oh my.
Yeah, he doesn't do that
Oh
very well.
my.
Yeah.
No,
But of
he doesn't do
course,
much very well anymore,
yeah.
unfortunately.
No, no, he doesn't. Although he got his little bit of revenge, though. It's all kind of funny. But
It is.
nevertheless, the thing in regards to trying to spread democracy
Yeah.
is the only time we really did that successfully was when we kicked the British's ass,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "Ooh, you can do that."
Yep.
Yeah, and then they copied us. Then they all took our Constitution. It took out the things that were really important, like I don't know, Bill of Rights, and then said, "Look,
Yes.
we're like America now." So that's about the only time we were had any success actually luring anyone. Money
Yes.
can get them to do what you want them to do as long as you're giving them money. But as soon as you stop, they revert to their natural state.
Hmm.
And to be fair, that's fine. It's kind of like America and our 50 independent countries that we have in it. We call them states, but same meaning, right? Um,
Yep.
we don't need to change California. Let California be California, man.
Hmm.
I'm all good. They do their thing. They can rot and flush themselves down the toilet all they like because that's what they're doing. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's the great thing about it. We don't need to turn all these countries into us. What you do is lead by example, right?
Yep.
And of course, all of this nonsense we've been doing for decades to try to force things have done nothing. Nothing. Not a
Hmm.
damn thing. It's
It doesn't
we
work.
have the data, Thundera. We have the data.
Yes.
Okay,
That's right.
I'm going to
They were
start look.
literally in Afghanistan promoting homosexuality. They had whole classes on it. They built whole colleges for it. They did all of this. Spent billions and billions of dollars trying to turn Afghan gay, apparently.
I guess.
Um,
Yeah, that's
and
the
well,
thing.
how'd that work out for you guys? How'd that work out?
You know.
It
Oh
doesn't
my
work.
God. They asked the question, "Are you proud to be white?" And people actually agreed. Yes, I am proud to be white.
Yes, very,
No, how dare you?
very much so. Why wouldn't I be? I mean, it's a funny thing, right? Because while part of me understands logically the individualistic argument that you shouldn't necessarily have pride in things you didn't do, right? Because you also shouldn't take guilt in things you didn't do, right? Okay, fine. But heritage matters. Like we were just talking about, it took about 5,000 years, give or take, for the West,
Well,
as we call it now, to develop what we have and what we've nearly lost, but
I
we were
can
very close to losing.
I can give
Uh,
thanks, can't I?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. It's either you can't abandon your ancestors. They made you. They are you, and many of them did everything for you. You owe them some measure of gratitude. You don't have to worship them. I don't think you have to go that far, but you should be grateful. And by being one of the best ways to do that is to take pride in your heritage, and your race is part of your heritage. Just that simple. You can't escape it. Every time you look in the mirror, it's right there. And that's why I'll never ever be ashamed of the fact that I'm white. Why would I be ashamed of it?
Yeah,
We
it's
we
so
created
weird.
some of the best people ever. White people did. What are we doing? We
Yeah.
didn't create all the best people, but we created a hell of a lot of them.
Yeah, we're in a pretty good run here recently.
Yeah, yeah,
We ended slavery, we created electricity, we created the microwave, that was a good one.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Refrigeration, that one was a real big one.
Fertilizer.
Computers, helicopters, we're in a good run, dude. We're in a good
Yeah.
run. I'm proud of it. I mean, there were other people that had good runs in the past, and we got to give them things like,
Yeah.
writing and, stuff
Algebra.
like, oh, yeah, algebra. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. The zero.
Zero.
Congratulations, India. You
The
know,
one thing
uh,
that means nothing but everything at the same time.
I
The
know, isn't
zero.
it great? Isn't it great? But I mean, yeah, we're on a good run, man. What's wrong with being thankful for that shit? But no,
Yeah,
the white guilt thing is a mind virus without question.
it
Yeah.
is, and it needs to end.
Hmm.
You're not wrong or bad for being born to the parents you were born to, nor were your parents. And the reality is, most of us, our ancestors, were pretty freaking cool. And we need to stop pretending like that's not the case because some of them weren't. The vast
Well,
majority of them were good people, hard workers
well,
who were just trying to get by in a world that was cruel
yeah,
to them.
but that's true
Cruel.
of all people.
Correct.
I mean, that's a
Eventually.
truism you just threw out there. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's weird, but I think it's going to go away because one thing that this election, which yeah, we're going to be talking about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But this because I wasn't here unfortunately last week because well that just frickin' I won't even get into it.
Uh
Anyway,
oh.
um, Japanese government. I really need to quit that job, dude.
Then why don't you?
I have this
You
little
don't need the money.
problem. No, I'm infected with this thing called responsibility.
Well, stop it. Get some
Yeah,
help.
I know. I should listen to Michael.
You should.
But I should. But This election, I did something, and it's weird because I'm going to say this, and I think others are probably, I would imagine they would have said this because it seems to be evident, self-evident.
Yep.
It worked out exactly the way you needed it to work, meaning Trump
Yes.
losing by them cheating and 4 years of really badness, and then this situation. Because if he had got in last time, he would not be as effective as he is right now. And he would
Correct.
never would have. So it kind of is exactly what we needed it to be. Ironically, well, inevitably, I'd say.
Yep.
There are some amazing things we're going to be talking about today. I mean, amazing shit today, and
Amazing.
it is freaking awesome. But
Yep.
one of the things I think that is most important out of this, not politically, but just practically,
Hmm.
because such a ridiculous mandate was made by that, he took everything. He won
It,
everything. That mandate, what it has done, it has taken the fear away from all of his supporters. They're no
that's right.
longer afraid to wear their hats. They're no longer afraid to walk in public. They're no longer afraid to shout it out loud. And of course, they never should have been. But
Right.
we know what's been going on in the nonsense. But we're just seeing them come out and celebrate, and they're happy, and they're no longer afraid, and that's a big one. Now, of course, the response we've gotten to this, because we're finding out, we knew this anyway, but we're finding out most of the opposition really is coming out of women, white women
Correct.
particularly. And now we're getting lots of them that are threatening that I'm going to get a gun and shoot every white guy I see on the street. I'm going to, at my
Okay.
work, I'm going to poison them in their coffee, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, that's not illegal at all.
Go
You,
ahead,
you're
sweetheart.
good. You're good. Yeah,
Pop off.
go ahead.
I mean, there's a reason we don't have women fight wars. Go ahead. See
Yeah,
what happens.
yep.
See what, and the truth is, women are better shots than men on average, right? Once they've had equal training, they have better hand-eye coordination for that, especially, and their vision's a little sharper. However, there's a
Well,
lot more to combat than just being a good
yeah,
shot.
that's not why we don't have women in the military, dude.
Correct. That's
The,
what I'm saying.
the main reason we don't have women in the military actually is the fact that because their baby making factories better put that back there with the commodities, because that's kind of important. Did I call it a woman a commodity?
Well,
You
they're
better
also
believe I did.
frail. I
Well,
watched a
I mean,
video earlier
that true.
of a
The
gentleman who was saying I think apparently he was a DJ on the radio, and he was saying some things about females, and a bunch of females got in their feelings about it. So he challenged them to a boxing match, like 8 of them, to a boxing match. Not one at a time, of course, but still. He said, "Come on in, you can beat me up all you want." And he beat the brakes off of all the. And he wasn't a big guy. He was probably 5'5", 110 pounds. Like he was a tiny little
Of
skinny,
course he beat the
skinny
brakes off
man,
him. I
and
mean,
just beat the brakes off of all these women. And it was like, listen, I get it. Don't hit women. Okay, fine. But
well, that's different.
sometimes
That's
they need a
sport.
reality check. They need a reality check.
Yeah.
And that reality is we are, especially white men and black American men, are built for combat. We just are. That's why we're the best at it all over the
Well, I
world.
mean, yeah, it's kind of a biology thing. But me
Yeah.
personally, I would have took them all at the same time, because that way I could have grabbed more boobs and got away with it.
Oh, you didn't want to grab these women, trust me.
No,
You're
I'm
like,
just kidding.
oh,
Oh damn.
oh.
Oh damn. Why can't they be the cute Karens? Shit. Oh, that's right. They're all not Karens, and they're married to men, and they're very happy and riding around
That's
with
right.
holding up
Yeah.
Trump flags with bikinis on, and happy to let them. Oh, nip slip. Oops.
Oop.
Oh,
Whoopsie.
have you seen the tits out for Trump? Dude,
I have not, but
America's
that's amazing.
America's best country on the planet. Plain and
It is.
simple.
It's true. True. I've been to many of them. I can confidently say the only one I've been to is the one you live in. I think that one might take it, but America's up there. It's right up there in competition, neck and neck.
Those good old American girls, though, you gotta love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we got a lot of shit to talk about, and I think we might as well just start with the meta, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do that. Um, Trump is not president yet. Of course, he won't be president until January 20th, right?
That's right.
But day one, the day after, and then of course, what are we, 5, 6 days in now? A
Yep.
week? No, five,
Almost a week.
almost a week, 5 days, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the instant effect of a Trump victory is it's shocking, dude, because
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
clear the world, and it's, no one said anything. No one has made the comment, and I don't think they will, other than people like us. But it's clear that the whole world realized, oh, America's got a president again. We need to start acting like, America is the threat that America is.
That's right.
And everybody got in line, dude. Everybody got in line. You have Saudi Arabia kicking out all the Hamas leaders that were hiding in there. That's not too big a surprise, really. But here's the real shocker. Qatar, or Qatar, as some people say, is probably the correct way to say it. They kicked them all out too.
Hmm.
Boy, they're
Hmm.
shaking in their boots, man. Um, China comes up and says, "We would like to have very good, positive, and professional experience with America.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Donald Trump." Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Putin laughing, talking about how much of a, I'm going to use your word here, Chad, that Trump is. He's very impressed with him. I think there's a little bit of bromance going on.
There
And
is.
he's like, yeah, and the same thing we've been saying here. There is no reason that Russia and the West should be enemies. Why
Correct.
is that anyway? I mean,
Nobody knows.
he said the quiet thing out loud is what he did, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Putin does enjoy doing that, to be fair. But yeah, and I think you and I have talked about this. Trump and Zelensky, there's a deal in place already, dude. I'm
Correct.
I'm very confident in that statement.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Zelensky, Trump, and Elon were all in a call
Yep.
recently talking about it. So,
Well, Zelensky
yeah,
would
yeah.
like to live through this, I would think.
I would imagine he'd like to walk away with his billions of stolen dollars. Yeah.
Well, he's not going
Um,
to end. He won't stay in Ukraine because the one
no,
thing they
no.
don't, the media doesn't talk about is how much the Ukrainians want him dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he isn't staying there.
yeah, he's not going to be there. But maybe he'll find himself a nice little villa in, Acapulco.
Probably. Or,
Maybe.
Israel.
Oh, that would be the genius move, wouldn't it? That would be
He
the
is
genius
Jewish.
move. Go down with all the damn lefties. That's
Yep.
perfect. But and of course with Israel, mentioning that the meta, of course, the Biden administration, I use that word extremely loosely. They have been reducing the amount of arms going to Israel because they don't want to give them anything, but they're stuck.
Right.
And of course, Kamala was threatening to take all of it away. Really, right?
What a surprise.
No, no shock whatsoever.
Yep.
But of course, you know, with Trump coming in, not only are they going to get the arms that we agreed to give them. We do have
Hmm.
treaties and contracts with this various states around the world. We should probably honor our agreements, wouldn't you think? But
Usually.
nevertheless, Trump is going to end that shit too. We already is. Just the meta effect of Trump just simply being elected.
Hmm.
Hamas is calling for peace. And keep in mind, every peace they keep yelling at Israel for, you're killing people, not caring at all about the other side's missiles or murder, and even a little bit. But do keep in mind that Israel has put forward peace deals here for what? I don't know, a year? And every time they put one up, what does Hamas do? I don't know. Help them out, Trump Thundero. What did
Trump era.
Hamas do every time that they were offered a peace deal? What did they do? What did they do?
Uh, Reject it.
Mm, wholeheartedly. Not even come
Yeah.
back with a side
No
offer,
counters.
as
Just no.
negotiation. Nothing. No counters. No nothing.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden, we would love to have a conversation about a ceasefire and peace. Wow, it's
Correct.
interesting. It is
Interesting
interesting.
how that works.
It is, but we're seeing this effect all across, even the Sahel. Now, I know you guys
Yep.
don't know much about that, or some of you might. If Elrod is in the chat, he seems to know everything. He's like my brother from another mother I never knew I had. But anyway, the Sahel, which is that kind of strip across northern Africa, the Sahara, it's through the Sahara, but it's got all those countries in it that, are in a constant state of war. Those guys,
Hmm.
all of those guys are all automatically all of a sudden having peace conversations. Isn't that weird?
Curious.
Curious it is. Curious it is.
They seem
Um,
to be afraid of the Donald.
yeah, yeah. It's just this meta effect of Donald Trump just simply being elected.
Yep.
It's
And you
it's
notice
awesome, dude.
you can see the people who never had a dad, like a real dad, because they're completely confused by what's happening, right? They don't understand that people who grew up with an actual father know what the sound of the gravel in the driveway means when you've been bad.
Oh yeah,
They know, and they're like, and that's what's happening all over the world.
it
They're
is.
all
Yeah,
like, well, he's back. We
yeah.
better straighten up.
Better straighten our shit up. Dad's home. But that's exactly what's happening, and it goes to show you that I did a good job.
You know,
Yeah, I did
as
because,
a dad, or
well, no, as a dad, yes, because this
okay,
weekend I went up, met my kids. Of course, we had our a wedding anniversary, but we saw the kids as well, which is the reason we went to that city. Well, my
right?
wife went to that city, but nevertheless, didn't have any conversations about politics whatsoever with the boy because why would I?
Hmm.
Because he's a proper thinking young lad. But
Hmm.
my daughter, none either. I didn't get any. Well, Dad, your candidate won. Dad, I didn't get any of that. Matter of fact, she said congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
it's
I think there's this weird, you know how when you're a kid and you screw around and you get away with it for a little while,
uh
and you get away with it for a little while,
not really, but I've heard
and then
tales.
suddenly it's over, right? You're busted. Either daddy caught you or whoever caught you're busted,
You busted.
and you kind of just accept it, right? You don't. You just all right, you got me, you got me. That's what it feels like's happening all over the establishment and the left right now,
Yeah,
right? And all over the world,
yeah.
really. A lot of people are just like, uh oh. This time he even got the popular vote. They thought that would never happen again for a Republican. They wrote endless articles about it. There's no way any Republican can ever win the popular vote again. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. And then he gets like 70. I think he's going to end with about 78 million votes. I think is the number I
Yeah.
saw.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, clean sweep.
Yeah,
This is
clean, utter sweep.
the red wave, and of course, I do love all the lefties that are saying, "Now hold on a second, we lost 18 million votes from last time. There's something going on." It's like, yeah, there was. You're right.
I
Yeah.
think the stream's
Um,
having trouble, Chester. The chat keeps disconnecting for me.
are they? I don't know. I see them over here. Let me go check my main run here. It's on.
Let's check
It
it out.
says, let me do a quick check here. Okay, quality is high. My frames per second is 30, but then again, I don't jack it up here. I keep it kind of at that. That's all you need for video anyway.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, nope, everything's good on the performance side here. So
Strange.
yeah, but even though everyone's talking about this or that, we're still in this ridiculous solar minimum. I really think they should rename that.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Yep.
there's not much minimal about it. The sun is going a frickin' berserk, doing all kind of weird shit, causing all kind of trouble. I have to say though, I mean, there's places that are getting blackouts and stuff, but for the most part, most of the Western world did a really good job of reinforcing that infrastructure. Though they did do a good job.
Right.
Because it's
Yep.
not, we've had like what X9, I think there was an X12 flare, right? I mean,
Hmm.
geez, and we went right through it, no problem. There's some places, mostly out in the Midwest, like in the middle of nowhere. They've kind of there's a hole in the American system out there, and they keep
Well,
losing
yeah.
power. But
Our energy grid is deplorably inefficient. The fact that it's able to withstand that is actually a huge surprise to everybody.
yeah,
Uh, because it shouldn't be. We need an actual infrastructure plan, not whatever the hell Biden passed. One that actually fixes, the power grid,
yeah, no,
because the American power grid is disgustingly bad. It's so out of. It's at least 50 years out of date. At least.
Yeah, no,
It's
I'd agree
crazy.
with that. In its in general state, there have been a lot of patches. I think here in Japan, it doesn't even blink. People don't even
Yep.
realize the sun's doing anything at all over here, which is a good thing, I guess. But what Trump is doing, and it's kind of interesting, right? Um, he is basically going to take people who are really good at what they do, who are
Mhm.
not liars and thieves
Neocons.
and shadow ninjas in the back trying to basically just cause trouble and not do their job, to go in and get shit done. And it's like, wow, that's a novel idea, isn't it?
Crazy, right?
It's
Guys,
weird.
what an idea.
Yeah.
He also it's pretty clear that him and Elon's relationship has become far more close than it used to be, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
I think
looks
they
like
like each other.
Elon's going to be almost like an unofficial member of his administration. Because Elon has doing a lot of stuff. He doesn't need the extra burden of a title,
Right.
but he can still like sit in with call like be an advisor basically, sit in calls with Zelensky and
Well,
other
no,
world leaders who he knows and talks to and
he's
has good
going.
relationships with.
Oh no, no, he's got to be a member of the actual government. You didn't hear that?
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that. I just he doesn't need to be, is my point. He can be just as effective from the outside, just saying do this, this, or this, as he can from within.
Well, no,
Whether he wants to be or not, we'll
right.
see.
But as far as I've heard, is he's going to be in charge of the Department of Efficiency.
Yeah. Well, I want him to be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want him to be. I'm just saying like he's already even with them not even in power yet, technically, even though it seems like the world's just doing what he says anyway. Uh, I think he'd personally be more effective staying private and just being an advisor. Because once he already has all the clearances anyway, okay? Because he's a government contractor at the top level. You don't get to work on government. You don't get to work on rocketry at all in America if you don't have government clearance.
Well, did you
Uh,
see on Neil deGrasse Tyson? Did you see that?
Uh-oh. Which one now?
The idiot one who we're told is the greatest physicist
No,
in the
I know who
history of
he is.
physicists.
What did he say?
Um, he was basically it was one of those kind of backhanded ways of saying things.
Mhm.
But Elon, he really hasn't done anything that NASA didn't do. I mean, it's really nothing special. And to be fair, NASA's way ahead in everything anyway. So, we can't really sit there and say that Elon,
Uh-huh.
has done anything.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Neil.
NASA also had a
Good
what?
job, Neil.
40-year head start? 50-year head start? They should be way ahead of him in everything. They're not, but they
They're
should
not.
be.
They're not. Yeah.
There's a reason why they had to have his team go rescue those people stuck in space. There's
Yeah,
a very
and
good reason for that.
he might help them become a little more efficient.
Yep.
But I don't imagine he's going to do too much for NASA because he's not going to undercut his business, I think. And nor should he, to be fair. Yeah,
No.
Roger, we are not an hour earlier. We are precisely correct hour because you crazy Americans have your daylight savings. The rest of the world does not.
Yep.
Therefore, because my schedule is so tight, I can't
Mhm.
afford to start an hour later. I just don't have the time, dude.
You
Yeah.
know how you know how I was just saying our power grid is about 50 years out of date, give or take? Our understanding of the world when it comes to time as an American population is about 100 years out of date. There's no reason we should still do daylight savings time. For one, we have electricity and lights, people. We don't have to go up and down with the sun anymore. We'll be all right. And two, most farming, at least the harvesting part and the seeding part, the farming part is done at night now. They do it all through the night. They have
Yeah.
automated systems that'll do a lot of it.
Well,
So,
they figured out that there's actually a interesting little chemical reaction going on with, plants at night, and it's actually more efficient to do that. And of course, if you haven't noticed, most of their tractors these days are all run automatically. There's nobody in the seat anymore.
correct.
Yeah.
That's why this argument that we need illegals to pick our crops. What are you talking
It's
about?
not
We haven't
true.
needed them for 20 years.
No, we
What are we
haven't.
talking about?
Well, it just shows you they don't have any clue whatsoever. They all have Hollywood brain, and
Yes.
Hollywood brain is a thing. It is a thing. Hey,
Uh-huh.
Devil Flyer.
Mhm.
Hey, Booster. What's up? Because Hollywood. You got to understand. There's a practical reason for this, and there's a political reason in some cases too. I think, but mainly it's just practical.
Mhm.
Hollywood has what, an hour and a half, 2 hours to tell you a story. Therefore, we need to expedite the storytelling and finding various little storytelling tools that allow us to quickly transition from this to that within, say, 30 seconds, a minute. right? It's very
Hmm.
useful for a filmmaker, right? Like for instance, I mean, it can happen, but and I know a lot of people think this is the reality. But how often do you go on a date and actually bang the girl the same night? I mean, how often does that actually happen?
I've never done that.
I've
Not in a
never
first
done
date,
that
anyway.
either. Well,
No.
now, no, 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 hands up. I have been at various rock and roller parties that things have happened at,
Well, that
but that's
wasn't
a
a
little bit
date.
different. You're not
Yeah,
dating.
I've been at places and things happen too, but that's not the same thing.
It's not the same. But I've never had because in my generation, it was the 3 date rule, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so,
I think
and
with
it,
my wife it was four, and they weren't even really dates. They were two of them were dates, and the other two we were just kind of hanging out.
yeah, yeah, but
Um,
you know what I mean. It doesn't happen. But of course, in a movie, they can't waste that kind of time. They need
but
chemistry to hit immediately, and then after that initial dating or whatever the smiling is, all of a sudden they're hot and bothered, up against the walls, buttons are being popped, and sex is happening. That's not real,
mhm,
right? But I
mhm.
guarantee you, there's a lot of people in America around the world who thinks that that actually happens, and it doesn't really. Right? Now
I
I
mean, I'm
understand
sure
you
it
got
does
Tinder. Well,
sometimes,
the
but it's
Tinder
very
thing.
rare for the normal thing. Because here's another stat that you'll shock them when you tell them this. Most people graduate high school without ever even kissing anybody, without having any sex, even maybe even
Particularly
having any
men.
kind of relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're people. Most of us end up with we just don't for whatever reason. It just doesn't happen, or we're just not confident, or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. It's fine. In
Yeah.
fact, men, you really shouldn't blossom into that stuff until you're older.
Yeah.
Doing You can
Well,
do it as a young man, of course. And if you find a girl and you want to be with her and whatever, do what you got to do.
yeah, yeah, sure.
But you shouldn't be concerned with it until you're in your late 20s to
Right.
mid 30s,
I'm
in
just
my
giving
opinion.
an example of Hollywood mind, right?
Yeah.
And of course there are tons of other examples. It's just the for them to be able to tell the story succinctly in hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But and then when I was younger, with my generation, the Generation X, I'm an Xer, and
Hmm.
for us, the average man would sleep with 2 to 3 women in his entire lifetime. Now, I don't know how they come up with that statistic, seeing as I'm still alive. But nevertheless, that's the statistic. Hey, Art, what's up?
What is going on today?
They're all coming in and saying hi. That's very nice.
They're here. They're around. We got a booster. We got an
We
art.
do.
We got
We
a devil
do.
flyer. What's
We do,
happening
man.
here?
It's great. But the sad thing is, with this current generation we have going on, the millennials and the Zers, actually the average is negative. Did you know that? I don't know how
I
you
didn't.
have negative sex amount of times. I'm not really sure
Uh,
how that works. Someone
I don't
explain that
either.
to me.
Well, it's kind of like how you see these statistics that say they're having point percentage of sex, like
It's weird.
21.5. What is a point
I
five of
don't
sex? You
know.
either had sex or you did it.
That's a
There's
weird
no.
one. I don't think I want to be part of the decimal
What is
system.
half a sex? I don't
Yeah, I
want to
don't
know
know.
half a
It's that
sex. That
sounds
sounds
wrong.
horrible.
I protest. But anyway, you get the idea of the Hollywood mind. And of
Yes.
course, we have many people who are absolutely corrupted by it. And
Yes.
they don't understand how things actually work. But in the same vein, though, this meta we're talking about, where just the simple election of Trump has caused just this vibration across the planet. Dad's back. We better get our shit straight,
Yep.
right?
No
It's
more
just
effing around.
dude, it's amazing and it's so awesome. But then of
And the
course,
crazy thing is
yeah,
because he now has the mandate of the popular vote, which
he
is, like I
does.
said, the first time a Republican's done that in decades.
Yeah,
And the fact that they won basically every other contest there is to win. His side won the argument, even governorships, even state houses,
oh
like
yeah,
all the way
yeah,
down. It was a
amazing.
clean
Yeah, it's
sweep.
clean sweep. Yeah,
They
really good.
know now they can't. What do they got? You can't say he's a threat to democracy. He just won in the biggest democratic wave in 20 years. You can't say
Well, I'd say more,
he's
40. I'd say 40.
yeah, probably. You can't say he's a fascist and evil. I mean, they're going to still try it, but no one's going to buy that anymore because why would all this much of the country,
Well,
including the people he's supposedly going to oppress,
yeah.
vote for him
I
if
think
that was
that's
true?
why he won, just because people have come to the realization that that's just
It's
Hollywood
just
mind
silliness.
nonsense.
And actually, I think some people are like, you know what? If the alternative to this is the evil, racist, fascist guy who was already president and didn't do anything evil, racist, or fascist, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take
Yeah,
that guy
yeah,
every
yeah.
time.
But now, of course, we're talking about this kind of meta type of situation, and it is quite clear to see everything.
Yep.
But we do have some issues that are still lingering. And the word that comes to mind, and of course, you guys all the dreaded word, the N word. I apologize. I'm going to have to
Uh
say it live. I don't care what YouTube thinks. I'm saying it.
oh.
Neocon.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying.
Now
They're
they've done
trying
a
to
pretty good
worm.
job of wiping them out of the House of Representatives. They've done a pretty good job of that. But
Good.
the Senate is still infested.
Yeah, it's replete.
And Mitch McConnell, that little fucking turtle,
Yeah. Can we make some turtle soup, please? Finally. Finally. He's been
he's.
stewing for a while. Like turtles, they taste better as they get older. So can we
Mhm,
please
mhm,
get to it?
mhm.
Little turtle
Okay,
soup.
well, I'm going to come back to the neocons because there's another meta that I have to mention because it's the most beautiful meta of all time.
Yeah.
And this is it. I was laughing for about an hour. I still do my best not to laugh again. If you hear my mic shut off, just understand the problem.
Uh oh.
But uh, I really want to know whose idea this was in the Trump campaign. I mean, it could have been Trump, but I imagine it's someone else, right? But I don't know whose idea was this, but it's freaking just genius. It's so genius, dude.
Hmm.
Basically,
Hmm.
they sent Nigel Farage. Of course, we know his buddies with Trump, right? They sent
Yep.
Nigel Farage with an open invitation to the current government in Britain, which we know is Labour, which are a bunch of communists. But this is what Trump said. He said, you know, you guys, you had your Brexit. You left the EU, and we're proud of you. We're proud of you. We're going to be putting tariffs on them in extreme levels, but we're proud of you, and we're willing to make a deal and give you a better deal on tariffs. Here's Nigel Farage. He's going to come and offer it to you. Have a sit down and we'll work it out, buddy. Now, of course, Starmer and his stooges are like, we shall never talk to the Trump, Nigel Farage. Now, of course, there's a whole bunch of other people in the Labor Party themselves. They're like, yeah. Well, hold on a second. Well, wait a minute. And of course, it's done so publicly that the British people can see it as well. So,
Hmm.
what is he doing? He's causing chaos amongst their ranks with kindness.
Yep.
Oh, dude, it's so beautiful. I,
I
I,
love it.
I got a tear.
I love it.
It's
It's
so brilliant, dude. That's how you do
did
that.
did you see also that the Department of Justice in all their sham cases, they just dropped them immediately.
Oh, of
They said,
course
"All
they
right,
did.
we
That's more meta stuff.
wiped
Yeah,
it
there's
away."
more meta stuff. Yeah.
The case in New York is probably done. Like he's not. They're not going to try to arrest the president. Get out of here. Uh, it's over. He won. This is the problem that we have on the so-called right. The people who supported Trump or just right wingers in general. We have a real big problem accepting victory because victory doesn't taste as sweet as we thought it would. Because a lot of the people who have been marginalized, attacked, demonized, doxxed, their lives ruined, these are actually really good people with kind hearts, and they don't want to hurt people. So when they see these people have these apoplectic reactions, no, not me personally, I love it, but these normal people see these people just the tearing of their flesh, basically the weeping and gnashing of teeth that they're doing. They feel for them. They feel bad. They feel empathy. They feel sympathy for them because they're not monsters like they've been portrayed as. And because of that, it makes them not like the taste of victory. Because when the enemy, or the opponent in this case, loses so bitterly, it doesn't feel good, right? You don't want to. Most normal people don't want to destroy somebody in their world totally with something so minor,
I
something
got
so
a hammer
simple,
in the
right?
corner.
Well, you're not a normal person, Chester. So these people don't like victory. They're not used to the taste of it. They don't understand. For so long, they've done nothing but lose, 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 or had things just taken from them simply for supporting a political candidate or supporting an idea that they don't really like the taste of victory because victory's always bittersweet, right?
Yeah,
And
I
they
get your
don't they
point.
don't like it. So I
Well,
think what we're seeing now is you're seeing a lot of people trying to mea culpa the other side. In some cases, it's working. I think Biden seems to be cool. I'll give Harris credit. She completely conceded. She was fine, which I think she did. I don't think she wanted to be president anyway.
no, I
But
don't think so either.
um, I think there's been some, you know, softening, we'll call it, from the other side, but a big portion of it, especially their base, have completely lost their fucking minds. And you see these the people on our side, who most of them are just normal everyday people. They don't want these people to feel this way. They don't want these people to be, killing themselves. Unfortunately, apparently, a man killed himself and his whole family because Trump won.
There's
Uh,
actually quite a bit of suicide
yeah,
from that.
they
Yeah.
don't want that stuff, so it makes them take a step back, and it makes them try to put out olive branches. And I'm here to tell you guys, it's you can't do that with these people. These people are gone. Whatever, even if it was somebody you once knew and loved, and you've known them your whole life, if their reaction to Donald Trump winning an election is thoughts of self harm, they're gone. You can't
Yeah,
help them.
no.
You need a team of
But
professionals to help them. They're gone. So stop offering them olive branches and just get to work
yeah,
making their lives better because that's all we're trying to
that's
do.
right.
You
That's
idiots.
it's going to
We're
happen
trying to make your
automatically.
life better too.
Although there is such a happy vibe though, and it is
There is.
wonderful. And speaking of olives, Farm Simulator 25 now has olives in the game, a new crop and new machines. Therefore, yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent.
Speaking of
Booster will be
olives.
excited. He plays a lot of that farm simulator. He's a big fan.
I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's got a lot of new things. It all looks prettier. You can actually talk to other humans in it. It's amazing.
Chester,
But
we have a Ray Thulu in here. What
we
is
do have a
happening
Ray
tonight?
Thulu. Hey, Ruth, Ray Thulu. I don't know. Everyone's just feeling good, man. They're feeling good. I mean,
I'm telling you, man,
the country's on the
it's
right track,
everywhere.
and it's good, man.
It's everywhere. Everywhere I've gone
Yeah, it's
in public,
positivity, man.
there's just a happiness in people's eyes. It's
Yeah.
very weird to me because of course, after COVID especially, America got dark. Like you weren't here, obviously, but there it was just not a good place to live. It just wasn't. There's a reason why everybody who made a little bit of money was leaving. Like it was just miserable in most of the country, and it was largely due to what COVID did. What happened with COVID. It was, we like to forget it. A lot of people have already tried to pretend like it didn't happen. They've moved on. They're in
Yeah.
denial. But
Particularly
what happened
Pfizer.
was the greatest attack on civil liberties in the history of the world. We
Yeah,
were
no, it was
all
bad.
forced under tyranny,
Yeah.
or at least in most states we were. And we didn't really I don't think most of us have processed it. And I think a big part of why this happened is because people are starting to process it. And they're like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah, like I
What the
told
hell did
you.
these people do to us?
Yeah, no, and people are happy to wear their MAGA hats. People are just the veil has been lifted because of the mandate, because it was so overwhelming. People feel free to just be normal again. It's great. What map did you use there, Booster?
Oh, I don't know what map
I'm
he uses
asking him.
actually. Yeah, he does have a whole series on
He
his
said
channel,
so.
everybody.
Yeah.
You should absolutely watch it. He's hilarious as always. He's been putting out videos this whole time. He's got, I don't know, hundreds of them by now that he's been putting out. He's been working really hard on it. So if you hear this and you don't watch him already, which a lot of you probably do, go check him out.
Yeah.
Our
Go to
boy
his
Booster.
chat and get him canceled. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, he would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Say all the things YouTube hates. Oh,
He doesn't
Shabby
know.
picked everything. Shabby did. Okay, so you're doing like joint stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
He usually has people in there with him.
Yeah, no, I do like that, but I just because the olive harvesting machines are really cool. Because I've never seen one in real life.
Yeah,
That's the I think he's got like 600 videos. Damn, that is a lot. But yeah, I do like those simulators. But the farming one is really interesting because I mean the cutting edge of technology in the world actually is in farming, right? We
yes,
just don't ever talk about it. But it's just neat to see all the equipment and all the. It's hard to be a farmer, dude.
it is. It is.
That's
It's very
tough, man.
difficult. And the fact that people still pretend like it's not skilled labor is hilarious to me.
Mhm.
Um, I want you to find me a job that has to be an engineer, an architect,
Scientist,
a
chemist,
scientist, a chemist, and also just a farmer
yeah,
all in one.
mechanic, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to do all these things. You have to at least have a pretty good understanding of them, or you're not going to get very far in modern farming.
No, that's
Maybe a
true.
small little
You
farm
know,
you could manage, but you're not going to get big farming.
well, I've always enjoyed Jeremy Clarkson and May and all those guys. So with Top Gear, that was a great fun show
Hmm.
for I watched for a very very long time. The American one sucks balls. Don't waste your time with it.
Yep.
However, um, he's not doing car stuff anymore. Did you know he's has what 2 or 3 seasons now of Clarkson Farm?
Hmm.
He's become a farmer.
Hmm.
And he has brought an amazing amount of light to what it is like to be a farmer and of course the current politics that are going on with farming, particularly in Europe. So I mean, good on Jeremy. I mean, his car stuff was fun. That was just fun for us gearheads, right? But he's actually doing something important. I never
Mm.
imagined Jeremy Clarkson doing anything important, but hey, there it is. So
Yeah, yeah. There's people on the internet who want him to run. Well, I guess they call it stand in Britain to be prime minister, Jeremy Clarkson.
yeah.
Because he's still very, very popular. The only reason he was so-called canceled is because the left is retarded.
Well, he
But
punched a liberal in the face. That kind
yeah,
of tends to get you canceled,
listen,
especially when that
listen.
guy was like a high level producer or something.
A lot of people would like to punch liberals in the face. All
Yeah,
right.
that's fair. Yeah, yeah. I understood he deserved it, but that's pretty much what killed Top
Mm.
Gear. But
Yeah,
James May has gone on and he's doing his fruity hippie shit because that's what James is.
because he's a fruity hippie.
And what's the little dude's name? I always forget his name.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Hmm.
I just remember Clarkson and the Stig.
Yeah,
What a
no,
great
Stig, of
character.
course. But
Great character.
the little guy, he's gone on and he's actually having quite a bit of success just simply YouTube live streaming.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he does like just dumb shit like we're going to have speed building of Lego kits. It's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I love
anyway,
it.
those guys are great. But Jeremy is actually doing something. It turns out to be important. I doubt he thought it would be in the beginning, but it has become so. It's just the timing because these socialists, they really want to destroy farmers because we need to eat the crickets and all that.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes. They
he
really,
is.
really, really, really want to destroy farming, and one
They
of the
do.
things that I've noticed is seems to be one of Trump's primary. I would say it might even be besides immigration, his primary MO or whatever you want to call it, plan. We'll just call it plan for this next administration is to fix the farming problem
Yep.
because we've talked about it
Well,
on here
Kennedy's on
before.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's been on it for decades.
he has.
The way that we farm in America is retardedly stupid and it is incredibly dangerous. We supply so much of the world's food that if we don't quit messing around with our topsoil, we're going to destroy it. And that'll be a famine like the world hasn't seen in centuries.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so we have to get somebody in there who understands this, RFK does, and fix the policy that allows them to do this stuff because it's a policy decision. People have been farming in America for hundreds of years. We've been farming all over the world in the same locations for thousands of years. There is a way to do this responsibly and sustainably, the left's favorite word, that we don't degrade the quality of the soil to the point where the food isn't as good for you. Like even things that are good for you aren't as good for you because they don't have as many nutrients in it because when it grew, it didn't have as many nutrients in the soil to suck into it.
Mhm.
And that can be fixed. And I hope if with this mandate that they have, as long as the neocons don't sabotage it, which they're trying. I think we might be able to fix a lot of these policies because, like we were just saying, farming probably the place where the most cutting edge real world application of technology is at all times, and that's a good thing. We should
Yeah.
want that because we kind of need to eat. Um, so we need to make sure that the government has policy in place to promote that. We have the world's greatest futurist in the Trump administration, in Elon Musk. We have one of the most consistent environmental activists of all time, in Robert Kennedy Jr. And we have Trump, probably the greatest leader on the planet, whether you like him or not. It's hard to deny.
Well, effective,
So,
nevertheless.
yes, yes.
Do you think Tulsi he'll make her Secretary of Defense just to piss them all off?
Oh, I'd actually wouldn't
I
mind that.
would.
First of all, we get to have a hot Secretary of Defense.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And
right.
second of all, she's a veteran. She went over there. She dealt with this
Yeah,
nonsense.
she's
She
actual
seems she
military.
seems
Yeah,
to love the military, and the military seems to like her quite a
and she's
bit.
well spoken though.
Either either that, yes. Oh, she's also a very God fearing woman. She's actually a really good. Seems like a pretty good woman, to be honest with you. Just a good person. And she also would make a really good whatever it's called, the director of the VA, right? Somebody needs to be in charge and get that thing in shape because the VA is a
Yeah.
mess.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to see some consolidation of departments. Um,
Hopefully,
but I just want to show you this picture here as Booster has managed. This is voted the sexiest man in Britain. Yeah.
listen, listen. They
Yeah.
love him a silver-haired fox. I don't know what you
Well,
want.
he's fighting for rights, and one thing Jeremy's always been is absolutely fearless. He's always
He
been
is.
that way. And honestly, having someone who now understands, at least to a point, what it's like to be a farmer, fighting on your side, dude, that's freaking awesome.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's good.
It is
It's
good. Yeah,
good.
it is good. But yeah, no, I'm kind of curious what they'll do with Tulsi. But no, we're going to see a consolidation of a lot of departments. They're going to, Elon's main job, of course, is to reduce a minimum of $2 trillion out of the government, of the executive branch. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people have saying Trump can't do that. Well, actually, you know, just to kind of
He
let you know,
can.
I'm going to give you a little bit of civics lessons, seeing as they don't teach you civics anymore in school, which is shocking. But
Hmm.
American government is broken. Our republic, you see, is broken into three pieces. We have
That's right.
the judiciary, we have the executive, and we have the legislature. See, those
Hmm.
are three. That's count them three. Yeah. Trump, being president, is in charge of the executive branch. Now,
That's right.
the legislative branch is separate from him. He has no real direct control over them, although the vice president can break a tie in the Senate.
That's right.
So they're separate. There's a separation of duties and responsibilities for a reason. Yeah, and of course that judging one, the judiciary one, they're separate wall between them as well. But anyway, so yeah, Trump is literally the boss of the executive branch. Now, what falls under that thunder? What is the executive branch composed of? Would you like to
Well,
educate him?
basically,
Hmm.
all of the administrative state, or nearly all of it, which is almost all of, if not all of, I think there's a couple that are technically under Congress, but regardless of the ABC agencies, the
Yep.
ones that there's so
All of
many, nobody knows how many there actually are. We don't even know.
yeah.
Most people have no idea.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can look on Google; it doesn't even know.
No.
So there's that.
No.
Uh, he's in control. He's in charge of all of them. He's in
Hmm.
charge of the military, of course.
Yep. That
He
too.
is the commander in chief,
Yep.
and the federal property. So whatever
Yeah.
federal property there is, he is basically the king of
Yeah. Yep.
at this point.
Yep.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
His job is to execute the law and defend the country. That
Now,
is his job.
to be fair, he doesn't control the Fed because I'm going to help you out. The Federal Reserve Bank, the Fed. Uh,
Yeah.
I know it's got that word federal in there, shocking and all. But actually, it's a private business. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
know it sounds like it should be a government thing. I
Yeah.
get it. You would imagine that that which controls and, prints the American money would be something underneath the purview of the people. You know.
Well, it should
Uh
be.
yeah.
There
Well,
is a
that's
there
my
is a little
point.
department that we used to have. I mean, I guess we technically still do,
I'm sure it's
called the
still there.
Department of Treasury.
Yeah, we do have that.
Uh,
Yeah,
that the president is supposed to be the one who's at the very, very top of.
of course.
But
Yeah.
yet, we in 1913,
Hmm.
the government
Well,
tricked everybody
you
into
know,
ratifying allegedly
see,
something
the thing is
that
they
took that power
they
away.
didn't actually ratify it.
Oh, I know, and I think
Yeah.
Trump knows it too. It's why he
Yeah.
keeps saying he's going to get rid of the income tax because he
Yeah.
knows he can.
He can, because I think what's going to happen here, because we know that Powell, Jerome Powell, who is belligerently saying, "Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I don't give a crap. I don't care what that asshole says. He can't do anything about it anyway," which is
Uh
true.
huh.
It's a private company.
Well,
But you know what
yeah,
Trump could do? He could simply take the power of the Treasury back and say, "Yeah, well, we
that's
don't
right.
need the Fed anymore."
Which is what he should do.
Is what
Which
he should
every
do. I would
president
do that
since
shit
the
day one, dude.
institution
I would do that
of
day
the
one.
Fed.
And the thing was with all these neocons who really they want to stand against him, because they want to make their money because they get paid money from the military complex, right? Like Mitch McConnell, that's where he gets his money,
Yeah.
right? He's not an actual conservative. He's just a politician, a guy, a worm in the system. But so with Trump, he's got. I'm telling you, day one, there's already a deal. I feel this so strongly. There's already a deal. That war is going to end, so he doesn't even have to worry about them and them wanting to send money and stuff to Ukraine. No, no, no. Just end it, and that shuts them all up. Now that doesn't mean it doesn't piss them off, because keep in mind, just give you something. There were many little things that Trump wanted to do in his last presidency. One of those being, there was a couple of guys you all know, Assange, right? Julian Assange.
Yes.
Trump wanted to pardon him, right? Because he
Hmm.
felt what he did was just and good, which I think most people do. But Mitch McConnell and his little neocon troop said, "Okay, well, you can do that, but just understand that this impeachment, that of course the House is going to pass, when it comes over here, we might just not vote for you."
Yep.
So he
Yep.
threatened him. He blackmailed him, basically.
Correct.
Mitch McConnell did, to keep Julian Assange in prison. Now, Assange has been released, as far as I understand, right? So
Yes.
that's a
Biden
done
released
deal,
him.
which is good. Good for you, Biden, telling those guys go
They
to
well,
hell.
they offered him a plea deal that was basically a non-plea deal, just so they could not take a total L, and he said, "Yeah, fine," and
Right.
left basically.
Because it was completely ridiculous. There's no reason
Yeah.
he should be in jail.
No. No.
But now, of course, Mitch McConnell, as far as I understand, is still in Washington.
He is
And they're, of course, up to their nonsense. But Trump can circumvent these people. Now, do
correct.
keep in mind when we looked at the election, Trump gained everywhere in the country, including California.
Oh,
He gained.
massively.
He gained.
In
You know,
fact, the blue states he gained more than anywhere
He
else.
did. He did because people are sick of it. And these are not
Yep.
white people. These are people of all color, all standing, all religions, all
And white people.
sexualities. But here's the thing, one of the 50 states he didn't gain. And of course, in
Mhm.
that state, he lost by what? I think, what was it, 92% to 8 or
Oh,
7 or something like
you
that?
mean DC?
Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he seems to have set up and decided that he's going to break up DC effectively.
Yeah.
Uh, that whatever they don't close, a lot of these departments that they think that they're going to keep or whatever, they're going to move. They're going to move out of Washington and into different places of the country, different parts of the country, which I think is probably wise. One of the things the Supreme Court has been doing without saying is they've been decentralizing the power of the government, which is good because that's what we should all want. We should want as decentralized as possible, return
Hmm.
the power to the states.
Yep.
And another way to do that is to take the administrative state, which we're still going to have some of, right? We still do need some of it, uh, and break it up, close down what you can, and move it. Move as much of it as you can out of DC and the DC area, and force these people, one, to also hire, less radical people. Uh, I think there's nothing wrong with that idea. I think it's a good idea. The problem is some of the places that he's floated doing that with, he should just close, like the FBI. We don't need the FBI. It should just go. The fact that it's existed this long is ridiculous when it was never created by
No,
Congress. It was
the
created by the
FBI
stroke
is
of a pen.
clearly something very
Yep.
corrupt.
It's got to go.
It's got to go. No, we he needs to what he needs to do is just consolidate because there's so many departments that do the same thing, but they want
Yep.
the and of course
Redundant.
it's redundancy. But of course by having that, what you're doing is creating competition where there need not be any, right?
Correct.
And so just that minimum type of consolidation will reduce the government by what 2/3? Just that,
Quite a bit.
right?
Yeah. It'll cut it way
Um,
down.
yeah, just suck it all in, and then get rid of a lot of stuff we don't need. Like say, I don't know, the EPA.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
that would
EPA
be
should
nice.
be,
Those
if the EPA is going
jackasses.
to exist at all, the only purpose it should have is to be a aggregate of cases for court cases effectively,
Yeah, but what we
because
can do, we
it
could just
shouldn't
put
be
that
an
under the
agency with.
Homeland Department, though. Just let
Well,
them
you could,
handle that
yeah,
shit.
but
Yeah.
it could just be a department of that. That'd be fine. It shouldn't have any kind of enforcement power or be a legal apparatus
No,
other than a place to aggregate these cases so they can be brought as one case in a federal court
leave
instead
it to the
of.
states, man.
Yeah, which
Leave it
right,
to the
that's what I'm
states.
saying. The states then can come together. So like say you have Colorado and Utah and I don't know, whoever, Idaho, all have a case about something, right? Something with the mountains. And they decide they need to sue a different state altogether.
Hmm.
It's easier to do that as one case than it would be as three separate cases, right?
Sure. But
And
once
that's
again,
what
you
the
can put that
EPA
all
should be
under
for.
Homeland, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
Correct.
and the thing that's great about all of this, just like the thing that happened with the abortion situation, right? Now, once again, I'll state this out front for all of these idiots that are screaming and losing their heads. There is not a single state in America, not one, where abortion is illegal. Not one.
Correct. And there never will be,
And there never
unfortunately.
will be. But I'm just saying that that is the truth. I don't know what the hell these people are screaming about. There is literally not a single, not even Mississippi, is it illegal in.
Not even Alabama.
No. But with that aside, um, you know, we're talking about consolidation and stuff like that, and with the something like the EPA being under the state, which is Environmental Protection Agency, just environmental processes in general, right?
Yep.
And you want some place like California, which wants to allow and currently has all their citizenry under rolling blackouts because they're concerned about a little teeny fish that isn't even endangered. Keep in
Correct.
mind, they have all the power they want. They have all the power they need in California. They don't have it because of stupid ecological nonsense. And you know what? If California wants to do that, let California do that, man. That's the whole point, right? But things like EPA and all that stuff like that needs to be, and I would even put in another thing that if you are like, say, the United Nations, and you, of course, they need to be shut down anyway. But say you have some august body like that, and they want to do something environmental. Well, you know what? You can't deal with the actual federal government in America because it's not its place. You have to go deal with each state individually, just like you deal with each state in the EU itself.
Yep.
It's so ridiculous. They don't seem to get this. When they do all these things, they don't go to the EU and say we want to do this. They go to Germany and France and Italy and et cetera, et cetera, because that's what the reality is, right?
Yes.
But in America, they always come to the American federal government, and it shouldn't be that way.
It's not
You should
supposed to be
deal with
that way.
them just like you do the Europeans.
Their job is originally constitutionally to be the insurer of last resort, meaning
Hmm.
when things can't be settled any other way, that's when they're supposed to step in. They're not supposed to be the one to put their foot forward. They should be the absolute back foot. The
Hmm.
only thing they're supposed to be forward thinking on is the border, and that's about it. To be
Right.
honest,
And
the federal government shouldn't be making any kind of anything really. Like one of the things libertarians have, they have the meme of should the government do, and they go nope and they walk away. They're actually correct in most
they are.
cases. The government should not be
And
doing X, Y, or Z. uh, unless it's regarding the border directly or the common defense of the states. That's what the
Yeah.
federal government's for.
That's true. And Thundar and I went through the actual Bill of Rights. We actually went through
Yes,
it, if you recall, and we went and
correct.
looked at all those rules and what they actually entail. And in those rules, it's very clearly in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights itself, that all of this shit is not to be put into the federal government. It's right there. It's super clear. So therefore, they're breaking the rule of the Constitution constantly with many, 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 many things. I
Yes,
mean, a lot of people say, "Well, we need them to keep the infrastructure like the roads." Do we? Eisenhower put that shit in. What are you talking
correct.
about? Well, back in the day, the states would coordinate, and sometimes you would have federal government to do so, but they would coordinate with each other to build those things. That wasn't some federal program. And keep in mind, a lot of the infrastructure is in our country was built. I don't know. Let's use this word privately.
Yes, yes. One of the things like Elon does is he has his own internet, right? Starlink. He has his own satellite
He
network. He
does.
owns all of it. His company is in complete control of it. That used to be pretty common for
Oh,
things,
very common.
for
All the
infrastructure
railroads
things.
were owned privately.
Yep, they still are actually. Um,
Interestingly, yeah.
it's a monopoly, but it's a legal one because Amtrak basically just bought Congress off and made themselves legally allowed to be a monopoly. But that's another topic. Uh, it's one of the that's one of the main reasons why you don't have a bunch of railroads here like you do in Europe or in Japan or whatever. You just have a few comparatively, a few of them that are fairly sparsely populated. It's because Amtrak owns all the rights. Anyway, uh, but my point is, these sorts of things used to be very much so privately owned, and the government has stepped in for various reasons, sometimes with the best intentions, sometimes with not, to take control of them. And while I understand the urge to have some of these things nationalized, and some of those things probably should be nationalized, the idea that we need the government for them is completely ridiculous. That's just not true. The idea that if there was a demand for, let's say, oh, I don't know, the internet, the thing we're all using right now, it's not government controlled, it's not government owned. There are certain facets of it that are controlled by the government, but the idea that we need the government to regulate this is ridiculous. Of
Well,
course
keep
we
in
don't.
mind that Barack Obama gave away our exclusive rights to the
Yes.
internet.
And
Do
we
remember that.
absolutely
Remember
I
that.
I don't know if Elon has told Trump this or not. I don't know if Elon's even really aware of it, but he needs to be. Somebody needs to get in Trump's ear and demand that back. Demand it, but not just no, don't ask, don't be polite. Demand it back under force
Yeah,
because
no,
it is the
that's
most
true.
important resource in the world and we just gave it away. What are you doing?
Obama did so many nasty shit that people didn't pay
Oh,
attention to, dude. But Ray Thuel says that Elon's been talking about bringing Ron Paul on the team.
yes.
He's
Yes.
been gunning for the Fed for a long time. Of course, that's
Are
true.
we in the
Uh,
blessed timeline, Chester? Are we in the blessed timeline?
it
We
would be
have
nice. That
we
would
have the
piss so
greatest
many people
futurist,
off. It'd be great.
maybe the greatest futurist of all time, maybe the greatest entrepreneur of all time. He's on board. He's on team and on mission. We have one of the, like I said, one of the greatest political and environmental activists, and a sane one. He's not out here trying to blow up pipelines. In Robert Kennedy Jr., he's had tons of victories against all sorts of environmental atrocities on mission. We have one of the only congresswomen who would not be bought off on mission with Tulsi. If you can get Ron Paul, if you can get Ron Paul, the
But
only reason
you
I
also
care
get
about
Rand Paul
politics
if you get Ron
at
Paul.
all is Ron fucking Paul
Yeah,
because he was
I love that guy.
the only statesman in Washington during his time. There
And
was
he's
no one
free,
else.
right? He's no longer in. His son
Right.
is, but he's not, right?
Right. He retired a long time ago. He's old
He's got
man now. He's in
time.
his 80s.
He's got
He's got
time.
nothing else to do, and he would love to help you dismantle the Fed. Are you
He
kidding
would.
me?
No,
That old man would never need Viagra again if he got to dismantle the Fed. He's been
oh,
battling the Fed for 50
he
years. He
has.
would
He
love it.
has. It would be awesome.
To the point that when he retired, as a show of like, here you go, like a nice thing, Congress passed a bill or whatever it was, a measure, whatever it was, to audit the Fed in his name. Now they didn't get to do all of it because, of course, the Fed did all sorts of legal nonsense to make sure not everything could be audited. But what they did audit was horrific.
Yeah,
Was horrific what they found. So if he
yeah,
can get in there and actually get to the levers with Elon, him and Elon together, with Trump
yeah.
just being like, do what you got to do,
Just
Boy,
circumvent it. They need
boy.
to circumvent him. Now, Booster is saying something that I really hope is not true. They think, I'm assuming he's talking about the screaming Mimis, they think people are going to track their menstrual
They do.
trackers
Yes. Mhm.
AS them or SA them. I think that's what the
Yes.
young folks call it.
These young women, and this is where my empathy kicks in because I see these young women and they're completely crazy pants, right? They're mad. They've gone mad because largely to do with media and academia driving them to madness. And because they probably never had an actual man in their life to calm them down.
Mhm.
These young women have lost their absolute ever loving minds. Like they're
It,
they're they're
dude, it's really
completely
bad. My phone's
completely
popping
gone.
off. I gotta answer it. You take over.
Go ahead. These ladies are completely gone, and it's really sad because they're probably not bad people, at least not all of them. Maybe a lot of them are. They're crazy and they're just gone. There's nothing you can really do for them. One of the things that I've been out here doing is when I see one of them, spouting off, I'll reply to their comment or whatever and just try and be like, "Listen, no one's going to hurt you. You're going to be okay. I promise you're going to be okay." Just trying to just offer it to them. And the reason being is because most of these people are not the enemy. The enemy, I know who the enemy is. It's not crazy women who think a bunch of men are going to come and track them down and hunt them down like it's like there's some kind of wild boar and they're just going to have their way with them. Those women have been victimized by this system far more than they've created it. And yes, they're probably crazy enough they would hurt people if given the opportunity. But that doesn't mean that we have to hurt them. It just means that they need to be given a space to breathe, a safe space, if you will, because they feel very, 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 very scared. And that's okay. Our job as men is to make them not feel that way, or at least try to, right? Don't try to increase it. Now, some of them, most of them, in fact, are so far gone that these efforts aren't going to do anything. They're just going to dig in deeper and become even crazier. And that's all right. There's nothing you can do for them. Those sorts of people are the ones I was talking about earlier. Just back away and just keep them away from any kind of influence or power. Luckily, the culture is shifting away from listening to these psychotic harpies and back to sensibility. I think a big part of that was Elon buying Twitter. I think that was a huge deal. I think another big part of it was Hollywood just simply losing its ability to create narratives and create a zeitgeist culturally. That's a huge deal. Another part of it is the fact that Trump was already president once. We already kind of know what he's going to do. So the more sane women are like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Actually, it was nice being able to afford gas for my car. Um, and then you also have a guy like JD Vance. JD Vance goes into the lion's den and has conversations with these people, and he doesn't come off as mean. He doesn't come off as cruel. He doesn't come off as some form of ist or phobe. He just is very straight, very calm, very soothing with them, tries to get them to see reason. I think one of the best interviews I've ever seen any politician ever give on television when he was on TV with some harpy and she was trying to downplay the fact that Venezuelan gangs in two different cities at least have taken over apartment complexes, and she tried to play it off as if it's just only a couple, what's the big deal? And he just goes, "Are you listening to yourself? Did you hear what you just said?" That level-headed response, that very fatherly response is what these people have never had. So when I said earlier that the reason why you're seeing a lot of this response from certain places and certain people is because a lot of those people never had a loving father. They just never did. So they don't even understand the idea of daddy's coming home, it's time to straighten up. So when daddy's coming home, they see the world straightening up and their cognitive dissonance doesn't know what to do with it. So they go crazy because this shouldn't be happening. This guy's evil. He's Hitler. He's going to rape everybody. He's a demon. We have to stop him. They told us for 2 years, 4 years, 8 years that he's a threat to democracy, that he's going to enslave black people, that he's going to go out, he's going to send the military to just start killing brown people, all sorts of crazy things, that he works for Putin. Uh, what else? I mean, every single thing that they went so far, they stopped just short of calling him some form of extraterrestrial entity that is here to do us nothing but harm. They called Trump literally every terrible thing you could call somebody, and he still won. And he didn't just win; he won in the biggest victory in decades, maybe half a century. That is something their brains can't handle because they've been so propagandized and abused by people who are evil, right? They are genuinely victims of brainwashing and propaganda. So yes, we should relish it a little bit that they're losing their mind, because let's be honest, they deserve to struggle a little. They do. But when people start killing themselves over it, that's when we, the guys who won, have to be good winners and try to calm them down as best we can. That's probably not going to work. I'm fully aware of that. But you can't be a sore winner, right? If we say we have a better worldview than them, we were given the mandate by the people to fix it, to fix the world effectively. We can't then go turn around and become monsters. I am not saying these people don't deserve it, and I am not talking about bureaucrats and politicians. That's a different conversation. I'm talking about normal Americans, everyday people who were just tricked and deceived and lied to. Those people are not necessarily evil people. A lot of them are, but we have to be able to allow ourselves to show some compassion. The fact that they can't and that they won't is a problem, and the only way to correct that problem is to get the people who can't and won't and deal with them. To do it to everybody is a massive overcorrection. I would like America to be exactly what Trump says he wants to make it, great again. That means we have to have a neutrality to some level. Not saying we forget about COVID. Trust me, these sons of bitches killed my father. I'm not saying we forget about that. And every single person responsible for it needs to pay the ultimate price. I'll leave it at that for YouTube. But the citizenry who was scared and deceived and became something they regret, which we know they do because look at this election. It's the same people. It's only been 4 years. It's the same people. These people deserve some measure of compassion. I'm not saying you have to forgive them. I'm not saying you ever even have to speak to them. I'm just saying don't destroy them. We have to be a little bit gracious in victory, not because the enemy deserves it, but because we deserve it. We deserve this. We cannot let this drive us crazy. And there's no telling if this victory, how long this will last. I think we've set up now, unless something crazy happens, I think we've set up now for a good maybe a decade or so of sanity being reestablished. We're gonna drift hard away from anything that would resemble wokeness. We're gonna drift hard away from the hardcore identity politics that the left forced upon everybody, and we're gonna drift away from the craziness with the constant gay propaganda. Because for one thing, it simply doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. That what they were trying to do failed. We won, guys. We won. Look at I'm going to go back to my favorite movie of the last little while, Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick was a proof of concept that woke doesn't work anymore. We won. We won. The last two movies of this year that were really successful. I'm just using these as a cultural barometer. Was Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. There's nothing really in that that's super duper woke. There's a little bit of tropes about British villains and things, and I get that, but there's not. It's not overtly. It's not in your face. There's not a bunch of homosexual makeout scenes or anything like that. There's none of that stuff. And Maverick is another example. Back then, there was none of that stuff back then. And then that Inside Out 2 movie, which I've never seen any of the Inside Out, so I have no idea what they're like. But from what I hear, it's just an animated movie that could have been made at any time. There's nothing crazy about it. Yeah. So my point is, culturally, we've already won. It's done. They can't get a W. When was the last time a woke project made any money? When was the last time it happened? It's been years. They keep losing money. Even video game franchises that were printing money, like Assassin's Creed, bomb. It's going to bomb. We know it's going to bomb. That's why they pushed it off till February, because they know it's going to bomb. Just like, Star Wars, the Star Wars Outlaw game, we have now proof from the publisher that it didn't make anywhere near the amount of money they thought it was going to make, for the same reason. Woke trash doesn't sell. The culture is one. Now the politics are starting to reflect it. That is how it always goes. I was just having a discussion with somebody the other day that the way civilizations are built throughout all of the world is genetics, culture, politics, culture, genetics. That is the pattern. It goes from genetics to culture to politics to culture to genetics. So what I mean by that is who you are as a people, right? That's what nations are. They're a group of people who typically have a very shared genetic history, often just families, extended families, create a culture. That culture then is reinforced, created, or creates a political structure to then reinforce the culture that you like, right? And then that influences your genetics going forward. And this pattern just keeps replaying all throughout history. That's why certain groups of people, wherever they go, they create certain atmospheres, whether good or bad. That's why certain cultures are better than others. It's got nothing to do with superiority. It has everything to do with this pattern reinforcing itself. So when you have a cultural shift like we have had in the last 2 years, that is a very, very good sign that the politics are going to get healthier. And then you come to this election. Everybody was saying it's the most important election maybe ever. I don't know if that's true, but it felt like it. Sure felt like it was. And the good guys won. I know a lot of people on the left don't think the good guys won, but the good guy, Biden walking in the sand, the
It's my
good guys
spirit
definitely
animal.
won. And because the good guys won, we need to show that we are the good guys. That doesn't mean the bad people don't get punished. Oh, yes, they do. But the normal people don't need to be the ones that are punished. They need to be the ones that are helped. We're going to make the world better for them and for us. Not just for us, but for everybody. That's what Make America Great Again means.
That's
Go
amazing.
ahead, Chester.
No, no, I have to keep that forever. Yeah. But no, what am I saying? I was enjoying my spirit animal. No, what am I going to say? I'm going to say this. I need to retire.
Uh-oh. He's
That's what I need
retiring.
to retire. No, I mean, God, dude, uh, I am I am 20 years younger than anyone else on that damn council, and they can't do shit without me. Why don't you let the fucking mayor do his job? How about that? How about that? God damn it.
Chester, did you ever stop and think that maybe it's because you're 20 years younger? They're all just too old?
It's not the point. I'm busy. I have shit to do.
He's a
But
busy
no, no,
man.
I'll make time in my day for you too. Okay.
So
All
I don't know
right.
what you heard, Chester, but my basic point is yes, the bad people who did the really bad things in our government or otherwise, they
Yeah.
need to be punished. We can't just let that go. But the
Of
people
course
who
not.
are just normal people who are losing their minds and unfortunately killing their families, we need to offer them compassion because their minds have been broken by a media and academia that has done nothing but attack the vulnerable for decades, and it's got
Well,
to stop. And
well,
I think with Elon buying Twitter, it's starting to stop.
yeah.
I
I
really
mean,
do.
I understand that. In this conversation, I had to go into the phone. If you didn't catch that,
Yep.
but it started with talking about these women who are losing their damn mind because they are. So
They are.
many of them are literally breaking felony law, federal law,
Yes.
and threatening to murder people. It's that's it's to that extreme. It's not. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's literally what they're doing, and they could get themselves in trouble for it. But let's keep this in mind, though. Let's stay on target here because these are the same women that have been pushing this feminist agenda for decades.
Yes.
Now, they might be the younger face of it, but the same women are doing that. They're the same women that have destroyed marriage in general in the West, and America particularly. These are the
Hmm.
same women that have basically forced, what is it, 99.4% of all men to say, nope, and walk right away from relationships, marriage, any of it. These are the
Yep.
same women have done that. And that statistic I just gave you is not bullshit. That is
Correct.
real. Only 6 out of every 1,000 men are actually marrying. That is
Hmm.
less than a percentage, right? These are the same women that have caused this situation, same women that we don't need no man. We just want their money. We're going to take advantage of them. Screw these men. They lie about them. Do keep in mind another interesting statistic YouTube 95% of all rape allegations never make it through court.
Yep. No,
Isn't
no
that
evidence. It's
interesting?
fake.
Isn't that interesting?
Hmm.
So before you start having sympathy for all of these whining little girls that are threatening to end themselves, do keep in mind the damage they've done. The simple fact of the matter is 20% of any society are the ones who cause all the noise and trouble. That's the
Correct.
reality. Now, and sometimes it's a little bit higher and sometimes it's a little bit lower, but it's basically around that average everywhere all the time. Those
Hmm.
20%, you might have sympathy for them, and I understand it, but these are the people who make all the trouble. And keep in
Correct.
mind, it doesn't matter where you put them politically. That's quite
Yeah.
irrelevant, right? These are the troublemakers. They're the ones that make everything so it can't function. So, me personally, I get your sympathy for them, Thundero, but I'm just going to say it straight. Fuck them.
No, you're misunderstanding me. I'm not talking about those women. I'm talking about the ones who are trend followers. I'm talking about the ones
Oh, okay.
who have been radicalized in the last few
Yeah,
years,
but they're
not the
part of the
ones.
problem now, too, though.
Yeah, but they're not though. They're followers. They're easy to mold. And us as the patriarchal men should be the ones to mold them.
Well,
The
that's
fact
the
that we abdicated it for so long to these psycho women because we allowed them to use the force of the state to shut us up
fine,
is why they're
fine,
like that. Is
fine.
why the world's like that. Chester, you talk about it all the time.
I
We have a
know.
responsibility.
I
When it
know.
comes to the men coming in to clean it up,
It's always
unfortunately that means
us.
we're gonna have to cradle some of these crazy bitches back to
Yeah,
sanity.
I know. Uh,
But it is great to watch them squirm. They deserve to squirm. They deserve all that pain for allowing themselves to fall for bullshit. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, someone's going to have to bridge this gap because, like you
No,
just
no,
said,
no. I know
a
what you're saying. Yeah.
huge majority of men have backed off.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
problem, men.
it's a
That's not
huge
our
problem.
job. We
Well,
are should
yeah,
be the
but
leaders,
yeah,
not the ones
no,
who back off.
yeah, you're right. No, no, of course, men are always the ones that have to clean it up, no matter what. It's always us.
Yes,
No
it's
matter
true.
what they say, it doesn't matter. It
Now,
always
listen
comes
to me
down to
very
us.
carefully when I say this. Not all of them, I would say even most of them are salvageable. They're gone. There's no bringing them back.
Well,
But
yeah,
you put out the arm, you extend the hand
you try to fix
under the
the upcoming
chance,
generation. Yeah,
yes, that you can fix the next generation, you can prevent them from becoming this way, and two, out of the chance that they're not all the way gone,
yeah,
right? Like there is a chance, and I would say a good number. I mean, look how many of these girls you see these videos all the time. These girls who went hardcore into that stuff into their early 20s, late teens, and then by the time they're 24, 25, they're fine. They're normal. They
yeah,
pulled
but
back from the abyss. Typically, the reason why they pulled back from the abyss, Chester, is a young, strong man pulled them back from the abyss. That's why it
yeah,
happened.
but do keep in mind that we're going to lose a generation and a half, if not two generations, though. We
Yeah,
really are, because the simple fact that these girls went out there and believed the hype, believed the lie, and
yes,
they've completely ruined themselves for any guy actually marrying them. I mean, the simple fact of the matter, if you're going to act like a whore, well, men will treat you that way, sure,
correct.
but they're not going to marry you. They're going to marry that. Who's No one's going to marry a
No.
whore, right?
Well, you say no one, but porn stars get married.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. You know what I mean, though.
Most of these
It's
women aren't porn
very
stars.
difficult.
They're
It's a very difficult thing. The
yeah,
average man, that's not his first choice.
no,
To have that, he wants something clean and something that he can actually make a bond with.
right.
So we have a huge problem in that regards. Now some people say, well, this isn't political, but what we've been talking about, I'd say the hell it isn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Alan says he can fix her. I don't know who it is that her is, but Alan's got it. Alan's going to
what will
take up that
fix
mantle. You go, Alan the superhero. Deal
what
with
will
him, Alan.
fix these young ladies is for men, young men especially, but older men too, to show them that they're wrong. Women will not listen to you guys. They won't. If you're married, women don't listen. You can tell them all day this, that, or another thing. Maybe once they get older, they do, if you've trained them a bit. But when they're young, especially, they just don't listen. But what they will do is they will follow. If you show them a better way and then you prove to them that it's a better way, they will do it. And I know this for a fact because I did it with my wife. I know this for a fact because I've done it with other people, other females that I've known. I know this for a fact because I've seen other men do it. Like the idea of this patriarchy thing that the feminists cry about. Well, the patriarchy exists because it's the natural order of things. I know, ladies. I know you don't like hearing it, but it is. Men are supposed to rule because men have all the power. We have all the physical power. So if we took everything away about civilization, all the niceties that men built for you, take that all away, at the end of the day, the only rule that will matter is might. That's it. and men have the might. So men are designed to lead, to rule. Luckily for you,
Well, the
most
infrastructure
men,
anyway.
yes, most men have much higher sympathy than women do. Women have great sympathy for the people they love, their family members, blah, blah, blah. Not always, but of course, typically, right? Whereas men have greater sympathy for people they don't love. Now, they won't go as far as women because women will go crazy with this idea of everybody needs to be loved.
Yeah,
But
but
my
that's a
point is,
survival instinct thing, though, dude.
correct, correct. That's why men need to lead because our survival instinct in that regard of where we put our love is stronger, is more precise. Love is very, very, very dangerous because it allows you to lower your guard. And once you do that, that's when people take advantage, right?
Mhm.
That's why what you just said, all these women have made themselves whores, being taken advantage of by a bunch of horny young men.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they shouldn't lead anything because we don't need a nation of whores. That's
right.
not what we need.
Well,
So in
yeah, I
order
mean,
to help them back to sanity, and not all again, I want to be very clear. Most of them it won't work. But we need to at least try. I think that's what Trump's been doing. He's trying to offer the hand to those who
no,
look
he
at
is.
his whole team is a bunch of former Democrat liberals
He
and
is.
women.
No, he's definitely taking the kill 'em with kindness approach, and it's
Yes.
wonderful. I love what they did with the UK.
I
It's so
get
genius.
it.
Yeah.
Guys, these women, these psychos deserve pain. And they're feeling a lot of it right now. And I'm not saying we stop them from feeling it. I'm just saying we offer to them, you don't have to feel that anymore if you just listen,
Mhm.
right? Be a dad, father them a little bit. You know, the way dads teach is we let them get hurt first. Not too
That's
bad.
true.
But we just go, okay, go ahead, do it, see what happens. And then once they get hurt, you say, no, what did you learn?
Hmm.
That's what we need to do as a society right now to
After
these women.
smacking them in the head.
Yes, what did you learn, you big dummy? Why'd you do that? Did that hurt? Don't do that again.
Yeah.
That's how a dad teaches. A mom comes and rushes over and takes care of it and blah blah blah
Hmm.
blah. Because moms are unconditional love.
Yeah, sure.
Fathers are very conditional. Don't be an idiot, and I'll love
No,
you.
yeah. I
It's very
tell my
simple.
my kids all the time, every time they leave my presence, don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
No, seriously.
Don't be
I'm
dumb.
not even joking.
Be- because that's how fathers are supposed to teach their children. I say this all the time. Mothers teach a child how to love. Fathers teach a child why.
Yeah,
The
that's fine.
reason why the reason why a dad is that's their job is because, like I said, our instinct in it is sharper. We understand we have a better ability to perceive threats than women do, insofar as from other people. It's one of the reasons why I don't know if you're this way, but I certainly am. I don't like to sit with my back towards a door in a public
Never,
place. Ever.
ever,
Ever.
ever.
Yeah. And it's and my wife goes, oh, she scoffs at me and does that move, right? But it's because I want to know who's walking in that son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
No, I
I want to
watch
see him.
every damn thing that's going on. Yeah,
Yes,
I will never put
exactly.
my back to a door. Ever.
That is why we are the ones who should be the leaders, because we have that instinct in us, and every man knows it. It's the same thing that how every man has this, especially in the West. We think about things like the Roman Empire. Remember that meme that was going on? How shocked women were that men think about Rome. Well, yeah, we think about excellence. That's what we think about. And Rome was the pinnacle of imperial excellence, at least in our, in our
In our
fantasy version of
imaginations,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Uh, and we think about it. We think about what that must have been like. All these things. It comes to mind for various different reasons.
Mhm.
But that same force, that same instinct, is the protective instinct. The reason why we love Rome, at least in principle, is because of what we believe was a great security. Right, the empire was a
Right,
great security.
because the way they dealt with things was so effective, right?
Yes,
I
efficient.
mean, for the Romans, it was very, really simple. Pay your taxes,
Yep.
don't make any trouble, carry on as you like,
Yep.
right? It's very simple system. And if you fail to pay your taxes or you acted up and showed your ass, they come in and kill all of you.
That's
It's
right.
very simple. The threat, it's very, very simple. Pay your
It was
taxes, don't make
FAFO,
trouble.
politically,
Yeah.
literally. Uh, but no, that. But my point is, I get it, guys. I do. We're angry. We were betrayed. My father was killed by these sons of bitches. Don't think I don't want revenge, but revenge is wrong. We will get revenge by making the world a better place. We will get revenge by getting Elon to Mars. The best way for a man to get revenge is excellence. Just move on and just let it go. Like when a girl breaks up with you, you don't get all No, 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 no.
Well,
Okay,
maybe when you're a teenager, the first time you do.
yes.
Yeah.
But when you're a man, you go, all right, I'll have a nice life, basically. And then you go and excel. You go and get somebody better than her. You go and make more money. You go and become something. You
Yeah,
go to the gym. One of the things men do when they get dumped, they go to the gym. You know
they
why
do.
you have that urge? Because your urge is excellence. It's something women don't fully understand. Some women do, but most women don't get it.
Well,
They'll
their
never
excellence
understand
is
it.
in different areas, but I get your
Yes.
point. Yeah. But
My
but yeah,
point
no,
is
no,
that's
no.
how you get revenge. The best
And
revenge is success. So let's make this country and the world better than it's ever been. Let's do
yeah,
that.
no, and I
And
and
then
I
all their
and I
screeching will be for naught.
right, and I it seems like we have that vibe and things are moving that way. And one of the things though that I've noticed with the younger generation here, like especially these Gen Zers and young millennials, they're better than my generation at that. They're like if a girl's acting up and being a fool, they just say, all right, that's enough of that
See ya.
and move on.
Bye.
They're way better than my generation.
Yes.
Right, way better. My
It's good.
generation, men were much more clingy, but then again, women were
Well,
nowhere
Chester,
near as outrageous, not even
Chester,
close.
my friend,
Yeah,
my brother,
yeah.
why do you think we got to where we are? It's because the older generations
Oh,
listen to
okay, here we
women's
go.
bullshit too much.
That's fair. That's
They
fair.
can't, they didn't put the foot down and be daddy and say, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. The younger generation, Gen Z especially, they don't tolerate it.
Yeah,
I've seen it too. They're out here. I mean, they're
yeah.
a little bit cruel even. It's like, whoa,
A little
guys,
bit. Yeah, it's
back
a little
off a
bit
little.
harsh. But a bit harsh. But for in my situation though, I rarely ever have to, proverbially put my foot down. It's
Yeah,
quite rare. But then again, I
and
have
your
a
wife's
very incredibly
smart.
responsible person that I married,
Yeah,
intentionally so.
she,
And that's part of the process as well.
yep,
A lot of guys get stuck with the first girl that winks at them. And they're like,
right,
oh, they don't want to lose it because I can't get it again. And girls can do that too, by the way.
yep.
Matter of fact, girls are in a way are kind of worse at it because with a guy, if she does kind of end it with you, and even if you're being a little clingy, eventually you have to move on because she's done, right?
Right. When a
But
woman's done, she's done.
she's done.
That's it.
But when you move on, you actually do move on. Where a
That's
lot
right.
of women, even though they might move on and get married, in the back of their head, there's always that guy. There's that
Oh,
guy,
bro, bro.
right? And it
I can
never
I can
goes away with
reaffirm
them.
this.
It's a big difference between men and women.
I can reaffirm this right now. So the woman I was with before I got with my wife, she left me and moved back home. Right? That was her call. I
Mhm.
told her I don't want you to do that. I asked her to stay. She pissed off. Okay. So I got with my wife pretty quickly after that. She wasn't my wife then, obviously, but she became my wife. About 5 years into my marriage, I get a message from her on Battle.net, actually, Blizzard's thing.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And blah 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 blah. Long story short, she wanted me to come move down there and get back with her. And I'm like, no,
I'm married. What are you
that's
doing?
not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
My point is, Chester is completely correct.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, by the way, that was a great feeling. This is what I'm saying. The best revenge is success. Women can take revenge, petty revenge, and feel great about themselves because they're very vindictive, spiteful creatures. Men, we will not like ourselves if we do what you want to do. I promise you, you're going to hate it yourself later for it. I
Yeah, yeah,
promise you.
yeah.
The
It
best
is
revenge is success.
yeah, because I think it's once again a DNA thing. I think women are always stacking their odds,
Yes.
where men are very focused. This is why you see more men in STEM, right, than you
Yep.
do women, because they women could do it if they liked. It's not like they can't go in there, right?
Yeah, they're
But
smart enough.
they sure are.
Yeah.
But the thing is that men can focus. Therefore, when we do move from one thing to another thing, now we're focused on that. Women are capable of
Yep.
multitasking way better than we are, and they stack their
Yep.
odds. It's a simple thing. And one of the things as a guy, I know this is going to sound crass as hell, but
Yeah.
listen to Papa Chester, okay? Um, no, this is one of the things you got to do, especially when you're dealing with these modern women. If she's with you for practical reasons, obviously, unless
Hmm.
you're just a incredibly handsome dude with an incredible body. But if you're just a normal dude, she's with you because you got a stable job, all of those things that check those boxes that she needs, right? And
Maybe
fair
you're good
enough,
in
right?
bed.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing though, the bed thing. If you're not good in that area, work on that
Yeah, you
because
can learn.
you can. And
Yeah.
here's the thing though. if you have never made that girl's legs twitch, you need to
Yep,
work
you
on
got a
it.
problem.
You
You
got
got
to
to
work
learn, my
on that,
son.
dude. You really need to work on it because I guarantee you, with the modern women, it's not like it that way it was when I was a kid, right? But
Yeah,
it is now. There's no way you're going to find a girl that hasn't been with at least a dozen, 2 dozen guys. It just doesn't exist anymore, right? And I guarantee you, there's a guy who did that to her in her past, and she'll never forget it. You need to
never.
supersede that. You need to do that. I know it sounds crass and kind of childish, but it's a real thing when
It
dealing with
is.
ladies, dude. You need
A
to
lot
you
of
need to do that to then you've checked all the boxes yourself.
yep, a lot of male lefties. This is something I say it all the time. You can tell he's the
That's
type of
true,
guy
lady.
who's never made a woman come. Yeah, you can just tell, and it's one of those things
Yeah,
that
and you got
is
to work
very
on that,
very
dude.
true. You have to be able to do it at least not every time, right? That it'd be great if you could, but not every time. But you need to be able to do it occasionally, at least.
Yeah,
So
no, it's
get
important.
your skills up, boys.
It
Get your
is, yeah,
skills up. You
yeah.
can look up online. There is infinite resources on how to do it
No,
that'll teach you how
I
to
know
do
it
it.
sounds silly, but you should do that. It's more important than you think it is.
Yep.
It really is because you need to check all those boxes for her, so
Yes.
that she won't. Like I said, if you were dealing like mine or a lady sitting here talking to our generation, it's not as much of a problem because the girls in that maybe they had never been with a guy or maybe one, right?
Yep.
It's just different now, dude. It's different, right?
Well,
My wife and
there's also a lot of sex toys and things for women
well, and that's
that
in my
can
generation,
do it too.
girls would never do that shit, dude.
Exactly.
That was
Well, now they do.
shameful.
Now
It
they
was
have
shameful.
collections like we collect comic books. They got sex toys.
Thank you,
Um,
Booster.
so my point is, if you don't learn to satisfy her, and listen, maybe you're not Captain Johnny Big D down there. That's all right.
It doesn't
It's all
matter.
right. You got other ways. You
There's
got
other
other
ways,
ways.
yeah. They
Yeah.
are.
Just learn them.
But it is very important thing because it's the women are incredibly good at, I've already said this, but they're incredibly good at multitasking, man. They're way
Yes.
better than men are. They just are.
Yes.
We're good at focusing, but they're better at multitasking. And in
And
that
if you,
multitasking, they will catalog every dude they've ever been with. Don't think they don't because they
oh yeah,
do, right?
oh yeah,
And they're
and if
constantly
you,
checking you against all of the others at the same time. That's why women shouldn't be sleeping around like they are.
correct,
It's
their
the pro
brains
that's
aren't
the
meant for it.
problem. Well, their brains are too good at it is the problem.
Yes. Well, and if you're the guy or one of the guys, because there might be others who can genuinely, get her off, that imprints in her mind, and she will never
It
forget
does.
it.
It
To the
does. No.
point
Yeah.
where the first time with my wife, I succeeded twice, is how I'll put it.
Yeah.
And well, she's my wife, so there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Within the first month or so, she was already telling me she loved me because of that.
No,
And it's the truth.
it's
It works,
shocking the
boys.
power of it, dude. It's shocking the power of it because for us, I mean, we can nut anytime we want, and it's not that
Yeah,
big a
it's
deal.
not
I mean, to be
not
fair,
difficult.
I don't know about everybody here, but I've been with more than one girl
Yeah.
in my life, and they're not really different one to the other.
No, they don't. Listen, I told my wife this one day. I was like, "Wow, you women really have no game, do you? You just
No, they
none.
don't,
You
because
don't.
they don't need to.
You don't need it,
They don't
right? We're
need it.
coming to
Yeah,
you. You just have
yeah.
your boobs
Just
out. We're
have
like,
a
yep,
pair of tits, and you're good.
yep,
But
boobies.
yeah, there's not much difference between one and the other. But for them, there is. Right?
That's right.
And it is practically so because they function differently. But anyway, enough of that. But I get the point because these
Here's what
girls
I
are
wanted to say.
losing their
You
damn
mentioned
minds.
earlier how your generation was far more susceptible to female BS because they chase after women and put up with it. And yes, granted, the women were less crazy. They were. That's
They
true.
were, yeah,
But because of that permissiveness, which is what you're doing when you do that, guys, don't chase a woman when she says no. Just walk away. Trust me. Just walk away.
promiscuousness is the word you want.
You're being well, yes, but you're also permitting her to do bad
Oh, you're talking
things
about the men.
because
Okay,
yes, now she knows she can treat you like garbage, right? You're
yeah,
just going to
that's a
take it.
problem. Yeah,
So what happens is civilizationally we
talking to you,
failed what they
Alan.
call we failed what they call a shit test for decades. The women kept calling our bluff and we kept bluffing back and not putting the foot down. And now we have a chance to do so kindly right? We don't have to be, it doesn't have to turn into the Taliban to do so kindly and be like, that's enough of your
Yeah, yeah,
female
yeah, yeah,
nonsense.
yeah.
And just back
Well,
away from it and start building rocket ships to Mars for crying out
sure.
loud.
Yeah, but lady, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the youngins. We're not our generation, lady. We're nothing like these youngins. We're nothing like
Anyway,
them, lady.
God, Chester, you made Lady uncomfortable. Good job.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying she is not part of that conversation.
No.
But anyway, I do get it because we're talking about the girls who are just lost their shit. They're
Yep.
really really deep emotional. We'll see. Hopefully, I think it'll clear up.
I think we can pull them back. I really
Yeah, yeah,
do. Maybe,
yeah,
maybe not, but I think a lot of them, some of them are lost forever. That's fine.
yeah.
They'll be marginalized and, have a bunch of cats and stuff. It's fine.
Well,
Um,
let's go over here and take a look at some of the stuff I put up here.
let's see.
Let's just remember the sexiest man in Britain. It
He
says a
is.
lot.
I've
It
had,
says a lot.
under good authority, I have it
Yeah,
that he is.
yeah. It says a lot.
Booster would never lie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I just think it's hilarious because English people are kind of ugly anyway.
Yeah, they're not a pretty
Yeah, they're
bunch, are
not a
they?
pretty bunch. Now you up with those old Gales though, like the Scots and the Welsh and the Irish. You can get some cuties out of there though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you like redheads.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
What do we got? Oh, hang on, my thing's freaking out. Hang on.
Ooh,
Candyman actor Tony Todd dies age 69. That's awfully young, Tony.
that is young.
It's
I
awfully
just
young.
saw him in a movie recently. He does a lot of B stuff, and we love him for it. That's way too young, dude. Tony Todd has been so much fun during his life. Of course, he's most iconic for Candyman, of course. What I think he was in Final Destination maybe once or twice. But he's done so many things, and in the past, well, I don't know, 20 years, he's just in so many B movies, and it's just great to see him because he's always Tony Todd. You know,
Yep.
he's fun. And we're really, really happy to have had him. And that's way too young, dude, because we could have got a lot more Tony Todd. I mean, there's plenty of actors that are still going. I mean, shit, Clint Eastwood is still alive.
Rest in peace, Mr. Todd. You
Yeah.
will be missed.
Safe journeys, dude. But yeah, I saw that and I had to put it up because I was like, wow, dude. Here he was. You can see actually he's not looking great. Now some black people do have the very dark rings around their eyes naturally. It's just a
Hmm.
natural thing that's going on, and I believe that's where that slur came in, right, with the raccoon, right? I'm probably wrong on that, but it feels like that might be a reason. But you look here, in this here, he doesn't have any of that going on, so this might be just a sign of illness. It's hard to say because a lot of black people, they do have a very dark, heavy darkness around their eyes naturally. But
Hmm.
I think this is just, the people around him, I'm sure, knew he was not well.
There's a good
But
chance. Yeah.
yeah, a real good chance. But man, that's a shame though. That one kind of, I was like, oh, damn. Did you enjoy his big hit that he had there, Candyman?
I watched it once a long, long time ago because it's an old movie now.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it's actually it has. You know what I complain about with horror movies, right? Is they're not scary.
Mm.
Candyman's a little. It'll get you a little bit
It's
because
got a
the
little, yeah.
conceit of the Candyman, the whole gimmick there, that messed up a whole generation of kids. They were all afraid of the mirror for a while. So
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's just got that deep voice and
Yeah,
that
he's
presence.
got a very
Yeah,
intimidating aura. Like he
he
was
does.
perfectly cast. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was perfect casting, and he seems to be a really nice guy. He goes to the conventions, and he's great fun, like so many of them are.
yeah,
He's not full of himself like say a Mark Hamill or something. But yeah, Tony Todd has been wonderful. And to be honest with you, his original Candyman is actually really good. The first one is
yep.
actually a really good movie. They go downhill
It is.
like all sequels do, but the
Yeah.
first one actually is a real solid flick. Yeah, because I put the first Candyman in the same vein of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, as far as quality of movie making, right?
Right.
Yeah, it is really good. It got silly, but it is what it is.
It's what
Alan is
happens.
chastising himself. He has admonished himself
Uh-oh.
because he noticed that he died at 69. Lol. All right, fine. Be like that, Alan. Be like that. I thought today with our news, I got some other things to look at, and I'll probably bring up the box office mojo as well. But I thought first thing we should do is I just wanted to go see what how CNN is today. Okay.
Oh boy. Well, they're loving it, I bet. I bet they're loving it.
In some
Yeah, they
ways,
get they
although
get
they are
ratings
cleaning house.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Latest on the 2024 election. Okay, that's fine. Trump still hasn't signed ethics agreement required for presidential transition. Well, he hasn't even had his meeting at the White House yet. I think that's happening on
Yeah, that's
Wednesday. So
Wednesday.
what are you
Mhm.
talking about, morons? Former President Donald Trump.
Future would
Yeah.
be the right word.
Okay.
The right F word.
Let's see here. Let's read these. You read the first one. Go ahead.
Feeling of dread spreads across federal workforce as second Trump term looms.
Well, it
Good.
should. It should.
Good.
I think we need to
Good.
fire about 92% of them.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. All right, all right. We'll be gracious. 91.5.
Okay.
All right.
91.5. We'll give him a grace period. Trump calls on GOP senators vying to be majority leader to agree to recess appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, this is a bit of the nonsense with Mitch McConnell and his people trying to take advantage of the situation because these neocons, they don't. One of the big differences between a Democrat and Republic, this is a very generalistic view, right? It's very generalistic,
Hmm.
but the general difference is Republicans want to hire leaders and Democrats want to hire puppets because the unity of the party makes decisions, right? Not the leader, right? And it's fine. It's a philosophy thing, right? It's
Right.
socialism versus not socialism. Um, so that's a pretty standard thing. The problem with the neocons is they're actually well, that's why we call them new conservatives because they're not conservative at all. They're basically Democrats, right? Because they act like Democrats. They think that they're the ones in charge, whereas the majority of conservative people and Republicans, they choose leaders and then they get behind that leader to try to make things happen. So Mitch McConnell, we really need to get rid of that guy.
He's
Really,
well,
really need.
luckily he's gone. Or he will be here soon, but he's trying on his way out to, burn the boats.
Right. Well,
Um,
this is
we
where
will see
term
what
limit.
happens.
We need the term limits. We need them.
Yep. Yep.
We need term
Well,
limits.
back in 2023, when Trump was putting out his policy proposal videos, that was one of the things he put at the very end of one of them to drain the swamp effectively and the deep state.
Yeah.
One way is congressional term limits. There was a lot more to it, of course, but that was one of the big ones.
Yeah, no,
So,
we need
yeah,
that. And to be honest with you, I'd make some other adjustments too because it's all kind of chaotic and it's not efficient. I
yep.
would change the House of Representatives from every 2 years to every 4 years, because every two
Hmm.
years they spend 90% of their time out there trying to get reelected and try to instead of just doing their job. So give us some time for them to actually be what they're supposed to be. I would move it from
Yep.
2 to 4. I'd leave the Senate at 6, and I'd move the president to 8, which makes more sense because these little 4-year things is very difficult, not only for the same reason with the election and constantly trying to be reelected, but it also chafes against the rest of the world's parliamentary situation. Putin has been in charge how long? How long has was Abe in charge before he left? Look all around
Right.
the world. You have a lot of these leaders that will be there for a decade or more. But yet our
Yep.
president goes 4 and then maybe another 4. I think we should kind of fall in line with the rest of the world does, and I would do 4, 6, and 8, and then limit everything to 2. That's
Yep.
it. You can't do more than
I
2.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
and this
Um,
I think would be a very good solution.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I think there's the presidency only being at maximum 8 years. While I understand the sentiment and I understand why it was done, I think they should have set it to 10 when they had the chance.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
10s would
just
be
10.
fine too, but I think 8 is
Yep.
more reasonable, and it's
Well,
just
if it was
simply
just one term
4,
of 8,
6, 8.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was just
Or
one term of 8, but I was thinking doing 2 terms of 5,
no.
and
I
that
think it should
way it would
be
be the same.
maximum 2 terms of 8. I think that's what it should be.
Oh, I see what you're
And
saying. I
Trump
see what
could
so 16 total.
16 total. And
Gotcha.
what Trump could do is simply retroactively remove himself from that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And just let it continue on after him because they'll just make
Well,
accusations,
he's
right?
too old anyway. He's gonna
He
be in
is
his
too old,
80s.
and he doesn't want. He's been very clear. All these idiots saying he's never going to leave, dude. He's always said he's going to leave.
Yeah, he's an
He's
old
never
man. Look,
once
he
even
doesn't even the
hinted.
crazy thing is he doesn't even look that happy that he won. I mean, obviously he wanted to win, but I think he's doing it now based off of duty, based off
Yeah,
of what he feels is a
yeah.
responsibility. I don't
Well,
think it's even a hat like I've still yet to see a picture of this man besides family photos where he's smiling. He just won the
well,
most important election ever and one of the
yeah, but
biggest wins ever, and it doesn't even seem like he's happy about it. And I think it's
things,
not that he's not happy. I think he's focused. I think he's like, all right,
yeah,
I got 4
yeah,
years. Let's get this done.
yeah. Uh, Helen says, just jokes. I love Tony Todd and Puerto Rico. Very good.
And the other thing
Well, keep in
is,
mind, Alan's a
apparently,
Cuban, so
up until
understand.
election night, he hadn't slept and even through election night, so he didn't get sleep for like 72 hours straight. Trump
Yeah,
didn't.
well,
He was up for like 3 straight days, 4 straight days,
I
whatever.
don't think he
That's
sleeps
crazy.
much anyway, but yeah, no, he's incredible machine. It's amazing. Read the next one.
Which one were we at?
We asked.
Oh, we asked Americans what they'd heard about Trump and Harris throughout the campaign. Here's what they told us. You notice they're so far, all of these headlines here
Mhm.
are very neutral.
You know, MSNBC will never be unpolluted. However,
No.
CNN has been interesting the past couple of months, but and I noticed it first with Anderson Cooper. Because
Yep.
Anderson was, you could see his frustration with dealing with Harris, with Kamala. Because
Mhm.
he was, some people were joking he's a gay guy, he just hates women. I don't think that's what it was. He talks to women all the time. I think he's just frustrated with the dumbass rate. Because here, now I don't know your situation, but many, many, many years ago, right? My wife and I used to watch CNN all the time, right? I used to watch the Young
Mhm.
Turks all the time. Now, sure, I mean they are left leaning, but it wasn't insane, right? It was
Right.
kind of normal, right? And one of our favorite commentators was young Anderson Cooper, because he used to be pretty fair and balanced. He did. I know it's shocking, but he used to be. And I kind of think I saw a little bit of shift in Anderson. And I'm kind of wondering if we're not getting a shift amongst many of the people in CNN who are sick of always being the
I
bad guy.
I think the election proved there's just a shift in general. I
Yeah,
think the haranguing, the nagging, the name calling, the belittling, the
yeah,
destroying, the all the things that the left has been doing in the name of and the truth of the matter is, this is what nobody wants to say, but Trump has been quietly saying it, and so have his surrogates. The reality is the people who were behind that were corporate America. Corporate America are the ones who, in about 2011, 2012, shifted the conversation through advertising, through funding
yeah,
research, quote unquote, doing all sorts of things to shift the conversation away from class struggle to race struggle to gender struggle
right.
to
Well, because
sexism, blah, 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 blah,
it's
blah,
all about money, right?
because they don't want you, the worker class, which is pretty much everybody listening to this, to unite against them. And what had happened is in that time, you had two massive movements against the establishment, the Tea Party and the Occupy movement. Both were massive. Both were at first very libertarian movements, by the way. That's what people forget about Occupy because the communists came and subverted it. At first, it was a very, very anti-corporate libertarian style movement, much more about
It
personal
was.
liberty and freeing the money than it was about just getting the banksters.
Yeah.
Um, and the Tea Party was the same way before it was co-opted from the other side. So my point is, the people were starting to get a little rowdy, and so what they did, this was their solution. It wasn't hard oppression, at least not yet. The idea was let's ramp up the rhetoric. Let's ramp up because that stuff had always been there. This identity politics, this DEI stuff, this
Mm.
woke stuff. It had always been. It's been on campuses for decades, right? It's always been there. It's just kind of been off in its own little world. People really mostly ignored it and just rolled their eyes about it. There's even a skit from over 20 years ago that was on Mad TV talking about making fun of how ridiculous these kids are and the way they talk. Because that stuff had always been there, but they didn't start to take it seriously until they needed to use it as a cudgel against everybody to divide and conquer.
Mhm.
And that is why it got pushed everywhere. That's why it was put into everything, because the people making those decisions decided that they needed this to keep the people from revolting. We've got study after study after study that we now know, as of last year, Amazon's leadership, meaning Bezos and his group, absolutely knew of and probably were in support of, that directly says that diversity in a workforce makes it much more unlikely for them to unionize or collectivize in any way against the executives. Well, why do you think they're pushing it then? They know for a fact it doesn't matter. It really, truly, largely doesn't matter who you hire at these middling positions, right? As long as they're functionally not retarded, they can do this job. So why do they keep pushing it? Well, they keep pushing it because they want to divide you. That's why. It's a divide and conquer strategy. It always has been. Now, there's other Machiavellian reasons at the higher level than these people why it's happening, and we can get into that at a different time. But at the level where most people engage with it, the reason you're seeing it is because the C-suites of these big companies want to keep you away from power. And the only way they can do that without direct force is by getting you to fight each other.
Yeah,
And that's exactly
they
what
just
they
don't
did.
want you in the way of their money.
Yeah.
Alan says, uh, oh, it disappeared. I saw it earlier. He said, he said Anderson Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It's
Speaking of
there.
the Vanderbilts, oh, there it is. Yeah. Speaking of the Vanderbilts, I actually stayed this weekend at a Ritz Carlton.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Fancy. Well, I mean, I think it was the Marriott Group bought the rights to the name in 1983. So it's not the
Mhm.
original run of Ritz-Carlton's, right? That was a Swiss hotelier
Yep.
that had started that. But yeah, they're nice. If you
And I
get a
used to
chance to
say
stay
this
in
all the
one.
time. I probably have said it on here before, that it would only take one defection at the top level for this stuff to really be over. And now we have Elon, who's out here directly saying he will not rest until he eradicates woke. His words, not
Yeah,
mine. That's what he said.
yeah,
Because he blames them for killing his son, as he put it. His son Xavier became trans and became whatever Xavier's name is now. And as far as Elon is concerned, that young man is dead
yeah.
because of it.
But he's got another little boy that brought. He brought in
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson, very cute boy.
Yes.
You know, the interesting thing about the Ritz is outside of my room, in the hallway, there is a person standing 24 hours a day. Isn't that
Okay.
interesting?
Is it a guard or is it a
No,
doorman
no,
or
it's basically if I need anything.
ah, like a concierge type person
Yeah. But I mean,
or a valet?
they of course not the same person. They switch them out probably every
Yeah,
4 hours,
just
I'd
one
assume.
guy. He's been there for years.
But but I just that's an interesting thing. I've never been to a hotel that was like that. I've been to hotels that have some pretty fancy service. I've been to restaurants that there's a waiter standing behind me the entire time, which I didn't like.
Yep.
But nevertheless, I've been to those. But I've never seen a worker standing in the hallway so that if I ring, there's literally someone in my room within seconds. I've never had that. That's I don't know. It's a bit weird,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's
But
interesting,
anyway,
isn't it?
it is
But
interesting.
we're starting to see this big shift, and I think you can see it in CNN, which is where I was going. They realize that the game's up. Right? You've seen all these companies closing their DEI departments, and now, granted, some of them are just integrating them into other things. Blah 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 blah. But I'm gonna tell you guys a dirty little secret: the DEI grift already existed in all of these companies since at least the 1960s because it had to. Because under the law, they had to make sure they weren't discriminating against anybody in their hiring processes. So HR departments and things already had all of this stuff. They just extracted it from there and made it its own thing and pumped a bunch of money into it. But that's pretty much over in every major company that I've seen, right? I've seen a whole bunch of them close them down. And it's because it's unnecessary, one, and two, the culture has shifted so hard against it that they realize even having it at all is a taint
Yeah,
in the
sure.
marketplace. It's a brand that you don't
is.
want.
Yep.
And that's good news, folks. That means we're winning.
Yeah, no,
That's what it
there's a
means.
lot of winning going on. Of course, Jim Jordan. I've always liked this guy. Do you like Jim Jordan?
He's all right. He has a few things I dislike vehemently, but like he's very in bed with Google, for instance. They
Yeah,
pay a
but he's
lot of his
also a
bills.
frontline fighter, dude.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
The problem is one of the biggest fights that we're going to have is things like a digital civil rights, Internet Civil Rights Act,
yeah,
Internet Bill of Rights, rather. And I don't know if he's going to be on the right side of that
that's fair.
argument.
That's fair. Although he's pretty strong Trump. He is a
Yeah.
Trumpian.
I
Um,
actually think most of the Republicans are just going to fall in line behind Trump because to do so now, not do so now, would be career
it'd be
suicide.
in their career. It would end their
Yeah.
career. Yeah.
So I
Um,
think you're just going to see very less resistance this time.
but it looks like he's doing the rounds, trying to tell him that, yeah, your nonsense where he's got to go and prosecute his opponents is ridiculous. Someone else will do that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because some of them will get prosecuted because, well, they've broken the law. You got to understand, there's always some constitutional breaking going on every year
Yep.
of your entire life because we're just simply not following the Constitution the way we're supposed to. However, this term we just went under with the Biden regime, they were breaking the law left and right, dude.
It was, I mean, I think they were breaking the law more than they were following it. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
it's shocking. We've never seen any Democrats ever do that before, that in my
No,
memory.
not that bad.
Well, no, 100 years ago we had a little bit of something, but
Well, yeah.
yeah, but no, it was really bad, and it's like I was kind of wondering whilst they were doing that, it was like, do you really think there won't be repercussions for that, guys?
Yep.
I mean,
Well, here's
really?
the other thing that very few people are talking about, and it's interesting. There is some conversation, but not enough, I don't think. The Democrats outspent the Republicans by a factor of three
Yeah, in the
all over the
end, yeah,
country.
yeah,
And they still got trounced.
yeah, they
So
did, yeah,
that you know how lefties, progressives will say they want to get money out of politics. They want to get money out of politics. Well, you know one of the best ways to do that is to stop letting it work.
hmm hmm
Stop letting them just throw money at a candidate and prop them up, and then
yep,
people vote for them.
there
If
you
you can
go.
get people, if you can break the damn spell, then it won't work anymore.
They
I
burned
was
a
having a
billion
conversation,
dollars. Yeah,
a billion on Kamala alone, but that's not including all the other races they lost.
that's true.
Uh, I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was telling them, yes, it matters what you put in front of your eyes. Propaganda is real. It can be in music, it can be in movies, it can just be in ads, it can be in TV shows, it can be anywhere. And that stuff does matter unless you know it. Unless you know what you're watching is propaganda, then it has very little to no effect on you. So once the trance is broken, once the spell is broken, you can just look at it objectively, right? You can look at it through a different lens, and now it doesn't have the power over you that it once would have. One of the things that happens with people who play a lot of video games, and that study after study has shown this, and I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, but it is a thing. It does desensitize you to images of violence, depending on what video games you're playing, of course. You're playing a lot of violent shooter games, whatever. Seeing an image of violence is far less impactful to you than if you had not, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Um, and that just makes sense because what you've done is you brainwashed yourself to not be as receptive to it as a disgust response. Whereas if you don't have that impact, it's going to make you right. You're gonna get shocked. Now,
Pearls will
the
be
good news
clutched.
is, yeah, the good news is in person it doesn't really have the same effect. I'm talking about seeing it through a computer screen or seeing a picture, seeing a video. But in person, people still typically respond to it the way you should, right?
Yeah.
They have a reaction to it. But my point is, these sorts of things, they brainwash you, whether you know it or not. It's one of the reasons why people say, oh, the crazy conservatives of the 80s and 90s were just wrong about everything. They weren't wrong. They were overzealous. Their ideas were stupid, but their initial contention was correct. Putting a bunch of crazy shit in front of young people, especially, does have an impact on them later in life.
It
There's
certainly
no way it
does.
can't.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we have responsibility as parents and as older people to make sure that doesn't happen. When you just say, doesn't matter, screw it, doesn't matter. Well, then you get a world full of degenerate whores and retards walking around on the street paying them money. It does matter.
That's right.
And I'm not
Get it,
saying
Roger.
I'm not saying we need to go in and ban anything or restrict anything, but we have to stop pretending that these things don't matter. If you watch a
Yeah,
bunch
no,
of
that's fair.
very sexual, very violent things, it's going to affect the way you view the
Sure.
world. It might not turn you into a violent rapist, probably won't, in fact, but it's still going to affect the way you view the world.
Yeah, no,
And we need to be more conscious about it.
they've done quite a bit of studies, and they found that this pornography thing actually does affect your brain chemistry.
Oh, big
Um,
time. Yeah.
and the death thing certainly does. I remember the first time I ever saw a dead body. I was
Yep.
very little, like 6 maybe.
Yep.
And I saw a crowd of people gathered around the dock. Right, home guy, always around my family are fishermen. Around the dock, just walked over and peered through, and there's a dead body floating and bloated in the water. You don't forget that shit.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I do
So
love here that CNN does say Jim Jordan downplays Trump's threat.
yeah. Yep.
They're
See,
still fighting.
again, it's still a little bit, but it's a lot softer than it
Mhm.
was. And the very next one, January 6th rioters and judges digest the impact of Trump's victory. That's a completely neutral headline. Completely neutral headline.
Yeah, but it
Because for
also
one, they
says a
called them
lot.
it calls them rioters instead of insurrectionists. That's a big one. Because for how many years now? 4 years they've been screaming about the great traitors and
Insurrection, yeah.
rebels and insurrection at the Capitol. No, guys, it was a riot,
There's
and
gonna
it
be
was
a
it was
lot
stupid.
of lawsuits around that dude.
Oh my gosh, stupid and
Yeah.
unfortunate, and it shouldn't have happened. And anybody who encouraged it was an idiot. Granted, it was great to watch these these Congress people cowering in fear at the thought that somebody might come talk to them. But that was cathartic. But the rest of it was really dumb. It wasn't going to change anything. They had no plan. They had no weapons. They weren't going to do anything other than cause a little bit of damage and then leave, which is ironically what they did. So
Well, it's not
this
anywhere
idea that
near
it
as
was an
bad as
insurrection.
Antifa or BLM. Not
No,
even
no, the
close.
idea that it was an insurrection is silliness. If
It's
that's the worst
ridiculous.
insurrection we can mount in America, then we're in a
Wow.
pretty good state.
I'd say
I'll
so.
tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Roger, by the way, they actually serve my breakfast in my room. That's only the second time in my life I've had that happen. Usually we go down and have the buffet, which I usually like them. Yeah.
yes,
But no, they actually served breakfast in the room, and we had like 2 servers in the room the whole time with us.
that's cool.
Yeah, it
That's
was
cool.
kind of
No, and
nice.
that's the other thing. Booster's correct. Violent video games, things like that. There's a lot of data that it actually helps lower violence
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it helps with your
But
urges. It helps you
you're
get
right
that out of
though.
you.
It does desensitize,
Yes,
that word. It does do that.
yes.
But yeah. Yeah, this January 6th thing is going to become very,
I'm
very
gonna keep
expensive.
losing fist fights.
Huh?
Ray Thulu. If violent video games make kids more violent, then why do they keep losing fist fights with me?
That's fair. That's fair. Of course, the DOJ now is trying to do their job because the boss is coming back in. Yeah,
Yep,
DOJ, you're in trouble. Yeah,
they are.
it ain't gonna
Yep.
work. You're in trouble. Pentagon jackasses. Yeah, yeah. Once again, you guys are in trouble because the president is literally your boss, and there's nothing you
Yes.
can do about that.
And the
There's nothing you can do
fact
about that.
that some of you openly admitted to defying direct orders from a sitting president,
Mhm.
you should be court-martialed and probably brought up
I
on charges
have a
of
feeling
treason.
we're going to have quite a bit. I think most of the actual headhunting is going to happen in the military.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
in
needs
truth,
to.
because we
It
have
needs cleaned
military
out.
court is very different
I
situation.
if you have a conscientious objection to an order from a superior, that's one thing. There's a way to handle that
That's
in the
fine. Yeah.
military. There's law for it. But to just out and out say you just straight up lied to the president and did whatever you wanted anyway, which they did say this, they admitted it. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable for anybody in our military to say
I think
that.
so, Ray
So
Thulu. Yeah.
somebody's gonna have to have their head on the chopping block for that. And in
Well,
my opinion, The fact that you then had Milley out here talking about how he had direct lines with China to warn them if Trump did anything crazy, basically,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Go to
that's
jail.
treason.
Directly to
That's
jail.
treason.
Do not pass go. Do not
Yeah,
collect $200.
yeah,
No, the
yeah.
Pentagon officials discussing how to respond if Trump issues controversial orders. Well, first of all, you can discuss that all you want because he's going to fire all of you,
Hopefully,
and you're not going to have anything. You can't do shit
hopefully.
about it. You're all going to go.
Because here's
Every
what's
one of you
crazy:
assholes are going away. The military is going to be an absolute
if
bloodbath,
you
dude.
watch that Joe Rogan interview, Trump
Yep,
tells you without telling you that he
yep,
knows who the actual generals are, who
yep.
the good ones are, the ones who know how to actually be generals and aren't just bureaucrats with fancy uniforms
Yeah,
on.
he learned. Yeah,
Yes. So
but
I
he's going
think
to
he's
clean
not going to
house.
play nice this time.
No, because keep in mind, the vast majority of the military love him, right?
Yes.
I saw
Yes.
a little compilation of military academies across America when they were given the morning news of Trump being the next president of the United States, and they were all cheering and jeering and having a great amount of fun. But he needs to cut these executives out. The Pentagon is going to be an absolute slaughterhouse, as it should be.
Good.
No, he really needs to get that under control, and he will. And of course, one of the interesting things is, of course, we have our, what is it, our health minister is that transgender military lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah.
picture of, Bobby Kennedy with his shirt off. Things are changing,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
see
No,
Alabama? I didn't see Alabama. I can imagine, though. Tell me what it
Bobby's
was, though.
in crazy shape. A man that old. I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
granted, yes, he's very open that he's on testosterone, TRT. But I advocate and have advocated on here for years that every man in their over 40 and in their 50s definitely should
Yeah,
be on something like that.
older men.
Yeah,
The younger men who use it along with steroids in the
yeah,
bodybuilding
that's
world, they're
stupid.
just dying left and right. But
Yeah, you're
older
killing
dudes
yourself.
who are losing it, it's that's why it's called testosterone replacement. You
Correct.
dumbasses.
Correct.
But yeah, no,
If we're gonna give out anything for free, it should be something like that. Now, I'm not
yeah,
saying we should, but if something's gonna be put in for the, here's free medicine, that's because it would have such a massive impact on men's health. Like, it's
it would be an
unbelievable how much
incredible
better it
thing
is.
because they do with women anyway. I mean,
Yes.
because the same thing, estrogen replacement is great for women. It is.
Yes.
But how come no one's really talking about all of the bodybuilders that are just dying left and right? I mean, it's bad. It's a
Because they're
freaking
men.
epidemic, dude.
Because they're
Well,
men.
some of them are
That's why.
women, though, dude.
Yeah, but what happens is once they get to that level of muscle, they kind of lose their protected female status in the eyes of society. I'm not saying
Okay.
it's right. I'm just saying that's what happens. And I think that's one of the reasons people just don't want to talk about it. It's also because at the end of the day, these people are willingly making this choice.
They are.
They're doing it to themselves.
They are, but it's not good, dude. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Old Teddy Kennedy here is going to get him a Senate committee, huh? And of course, he's a firebrand, as if that's a bad thing. Hill Democrats say their warnings about the party shortfalls on the border were ignored. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. It's very interesting if you guys weren't paying attention that the prime minister of our president, wherever they call it, presidente, I guess, of Mexico, the one whose cartel connections killed. How many people were murdered to get her in there? It was a lot.
A lot.
You know, a
Yeah.
lot of, I mean, dozens of people were murdered for her to become president. But when it first dropped and, Kamala conceded and Trump, took his victory speech, she said, I'm going to wait until every vote is counted. She clearly doesn't like it. Uh, but now, here we are a few days later, we're getting a different tune, aren't we? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
it's because listen, here's what's happening right now. This is one of the reasons why I say we need to be a little bit compassionate towards these people, is because a lot of these people are intellectually and emotionally 6-year-old girls.
yeah.
And when a 6-year-old girl gets all mad and starts saying she hates you and does all these
Mhm,
things,
mhm.
right? You don't agree with her. You don't coddle her necessarily. You just let her have her temper tantrum a little bit,
Mhm.
and then you calm her down.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is she's afraid of,
No.
you calm her down.
I'm perfect at that, actually. I have
Yeah.
decades of experience. What you do is you You nod your head, you kiss them on the head, and then within
Yep,
seconds they start crying and they hug you.
that's right.
Hmm.
You just calm them
Yeah,
down. They're
yep,
scared. They don't know how to process
yep,
that fear
yep,
emotion.
yep.
And that's what we're dealing with. We've been dealing with it as a civilization all up throughout the West for decades, and unfortunately, the men kept failing. They kept taking them seriously and literally, like these women out here insisting that all cultures are equal, and these
Well, we
silly
do
things
that
that
all the
no
time, though. We want to make them
person
happy,
really
dude.
believes. Yes, we
Yeah,
need to stop. We have to
yeah.
make them
No, we're
sane,
we're
and
at one
then
of
we can make
those.
them happy.
We're at one of those junctures, yeah, but
Yep.
it's kind of tends to be what we do. Let's see here. Trump promises massive tariffs. Now, this is an interesting conversation here with the tariffs. I do love his take on that, going back to the 19th century idea.
Yep.
Because we didn't used to have income tax. The reason we didn't have that was because we had a tariff system. It was very successful, even though militarily we were very weak back in the 19th century, even early 20th century. It really wasn't until World War II that we really became what we are. But we weren't a military power. But what we were was one of the richest, if not the richest country on the planet Earth because of our tariffing
Yes.
system we had in place. But of course, the businessmen were bitching and moaning all the time, and they had their little
Yep.
secret meeting and they created the, IRS and income tax.
That's right.
So what he's proposing is we go back to the extremely wealthy tariff situation we had, and therefore no longer need income tax as it was before. And of course, a reduction of the federal government and yada yada yada. This all would work out really really nice. Yeah, I love his tariff rhetoric. I think it's going to be extremely powerful.
Yep. And I think a shift away from the absolute evil that is the income tax is a good thing. The tariff structure was, like you said, for over 100 years. It was how we funded our government. We
He
were
was, yeah.
probably the richest country in the world at the time because of it.
That's true.
To the point that they literally had to actual conspiracy happened to undermine it. And it worked, unfortunately,
Hmm.
worked very, very well for the last 100 plus years. But there's no argument for the income tax that makes any sense. I actually looked at the data on it. About 90% of the people who get income tax collected on them is a negative proposition for the government, meaning it's a net loss for the government. Once you do the
Yeah,
math on it, by the time you factor in the amount of time, effort, resources, and people that it took to collect and collate all of that data and all of that money, you have lost money for
yeah,
most people.
yeah,
I think the number was 120,000. If you're not making more or equal to $120,000, you are effectively a net negative taxpayer
sure.
in the income tax
But the
bracket.
the system, the bureaucracy doesn't care about such foibles.
No. So
Um,
it has to go. It
yeah,
not only is it inefficient, it's tyrannical because it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't actually fund the government at all. It must go. Imagine if for you if you will. Let's say he can't get rid of it entirely because that would be a hell of a fight. I think it's one he could win, but it'd be a hell of a fight. Let's say he can get it down to your average person only pays 10%, right? They only get 10% collected out of their paycheck. And then he puts a little bit of a tariff on top of these companies, especially Chinese ones that are trying to send stuff in here, trying to do business in our marketplace. Which newsflash, people, they're always going to be doing. He could put a 300% tariff; they'd still try to get in because this is where all the damn money is.
right.
Anyway,
But it's also political influence is what they're after.
yes,
Yeah,
but anyway, that would I've seen somebody break down the numbers depending on what they were able to get in and how much the tariffs were, it could be a between a $1,500 to $3,000 a month increase in real income that you take home every month for the average American household.
right.
That's a lot of money,
Yeah.
folks.
And if you can get
That's doing
It
all
is
right.
a lot. And of course, if you get fuel prices way, way, way down, which is his
Yep.
intention, you are going to have a big impact on inflation because the cost of goods are going to reduce
Plus
simply because of fuel, plus, all the other pluses. Uh,
the
and uh,
manufacturing,
yeah,
because
yeah,
of
the
course the
cost.
tariff
Yeah,
system will just say, "Hey, listen, you don't owe tariffs if you build your stuff here, just like
Yeah.
China does.
Yeah.
That's how China
That's
does
the
it.
whole point.
We don't. Yeah. So everybody, then you get manufacturing jobs back, which manufacturing
Everybody does
isn't what it
that,
used to
dude.
be. I know. That's why it's crazy that Americans are like, no, we don't want to do that. Why? Everyone else is doing it to us. Why aren't we
Because
doing it back?
they're all in the pocket of the Bilderberg Group. When
Yep.
they're not the only group in the world. Don't get on your Rothschild conspiracies there.
Yep.
There are many
Yep.
of them, but the Bilderberg Group has weaseled their way into our politics, and a lot of those politicians are on their dole.
Correct.
And those guys are the ones because they're foreigners, and they don't
Well,
want these restrictions, dude.
one thing I wanted to say is tariff is just a word we made up. And really all it means is a tax. I would much rather foreigners be taxed to do business in this country than natural citizens be taxed to do business in this country. Every time the government takes money from your check, your income tax, or your social security, or whatever, every single time it does this, it is tariffing you. You, the worker, you, the citizen, you are getting a tariff for existing and making money in this country. So is the company you work for, by the way. They have to match your whatever is taken. If it's $100 a week, they have to take 100 out and give it to the government as well. This is completely unacceptable levels of extortion.
Oh, yeah.
And the reality is every single tax that you pay is a tariff. Every tariff that is paid by anybody is a tax. These words are synonyms. They're just in different directions. That's all.
Synonymous.
So when people get all up in their feelings about how bad tariffs are, unless you're consistent and say income tax and property tax are also evil, I don't want to hear you. You don't know what you're talking about. Every market intrusion, invasion, extraction by the government is the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's called a tax or a tariff. It's the same thing functionally. But we know for a fact, because as Chester just said, we have the data.
Yeah.
Tariffs massively increase the individual citizens' financial well-being. You know how we know this? Because right before they were able to get in their Federal Reserve and everything, that period, I talked about it on Thursday, that was a revival age during the Teddy Roosevelt administration and things.
Yeah,
that was a revival age.
Yeah.
Yes. And what happened is we made so much damn money. We, the citizens, our quality of living went up so high, it ended in the 1920s. The 1920s, you know the time called the Roaring 20s?
Yeah.
Where it was a big ass party all over?
Yeah.
It's because everybody had so much damn money. That's why.
But the damage from their 1913 decision and 1917 decisions that ultimately created the IRS and income tax, it started having impact. And then, of course, because of that in that same time we had the creation of the Fed. Right?
That's right.
And a lot of people, if you go listen to the armchair economists, which most of them are actually hired by these various news sites who don't know what the hell they're talking about, they get up there and they talk about, well, it was the private business, the private citizen that caused the Great Depression, the incredible collapse we had. No, go listen to a real economist, read a book, or just study it yourself. The Fed caused the Great Depression. Plain and simple. Don't listen to any of that bullshit. It's bullshit. Go listen to an actual. They did that. Don't listen to the. Don't listen to these freaking armchair economists you see on these channels. They do not. These people do not. They don't. They don't even know as much as I do. And you know what? Shocking. I'm not an economist.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm not.
I'm not.
What are you then?
I am quite good at it though. I
it
am
is true,
well versed in economics, but
we've
I'm
been
not.
propagandized for decades.
I'm a philologist, by the way.
Just so really, since the 30s and 40s, that it was these evil, greedy people that caused it, and it was bad government policy and blah 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 blah. And while that might be true to some degree, no, it was the banksters, 100%.
100%.
They intentionally exploded the economy so they could consolidate power. And that's exactly what happened.
But I mean, that bullshit lie is still going on. I can't believe it, dude. It's freaking, what is that? Almost 100 years later.
100
and
years.
That lie
People
still floats around. It's unbelievable, dude.
The New Deal. Remember the old New Deal from old FDR?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't help. Made everything worse, by the way,
bad.
guys. Made everything work. The only thing that really pulled us out of it was the war effort, the ramping up of the war effort.
Yeah.
Is what really pulled the American economy back
Yeah,
to its
military
feet.
complex. Yeah,
Yeah,
military industrial complex. But it's yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't understand why people keep going with lie. Like this one here. After 2 presidential losses, women wonder what it will take to shatter the glass ceiling.
well, let's
Well,
see.
yeah,
Not a psychopathic murderer,
yeah,
not that,
not that.
and not a whore.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
it.
not that.
Can we get there's a lot of room between a decent woman and those two. Can we just get
Yeah,
someone maybe closer to the decent woman? I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Can we try it?
Well, I mean, the
I mean, they
thing,
had a bunch of chances to elect one, but they gave it to him. Decided to nominate a man instead.
yeah, if they
Yep.
had gone with Tulsi, they would have found
Yeah.
themselves in that.
Mm-hmm.
They could have found themselves
Different
because
argument.
Tulsi might have, because of all the lunacy, Tulsi might have actually beat Trump. Actually,
You know what's crazy? She's also a brown woman. Crazy, right?
yeah, I know. Go figure. She's a
Hmm.
So she's
sexy,
the
hot one,
wrong
though.
type of brown
Oh my
woman.
god. Kamala was
Yes,
good looking when she
which
was
is the
younger.
Yeah,
problem.
she was. Yeah. But no,
But
but
she was
here,
She's
also
probably
a
too
whore.
Catholic for them.
yeah, well, she was. But here, that's what she's famous for. But here's the
Yes.
thing that I've heard. So, and I don't care what Kamala says, but I've heard so many women say, they're voting for her because she's a woman, and I'm like, where is your logic? Why does it matter that she's a woman? I understand the novelty of having a female leader. Okay, fine. But it's nothing more than novelty. You don't vote for someone simply because of their, gender. That's not the reason you should be voting. But so many women in America voted just simply because they wanted a female president. And it's like, why does that matter? It's
Because we're
completely
progressive,
illogical.
don't you know?
Yeah, but
We're
it's
progressive.
there's no logical reason, Ithriel. I
No,
mean,
no, no.
there's
That's the problem. When was the last time Democrat voted based upon logic and reason, not feelings?
I guess, but I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And the thing is, I guarantee you there are plenty of women in America who would make great presidents. So
Yeah.
if you're so desperate to have it's just, got to have a female leader, well, go find a good one, please. Just go find a good one.
Yeah. Good luck on nominating one
Well, I
that
mean, but
crazy enough to get the Democrat nomination.
yeah, but the thing is, I guarantee you, if they were smart and they're all about a female leader, if they had nominated Tulsi, her chances of beating Trump would have been very high,
Yes.
right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so would have RFK if they
Yeah,
would not ran away from him. Just let him
that's right.
Instead, they pushed him right into Trump's arms, and now we have
A
one
great
of the
unity.
strongest
Yeah.
political things we've ever seen. Coalition. That's what I'm looking for. Coalitions we've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's great. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. How's Japan and China's economy doing? Well, Japan's doing well. Japan has an internalized economy. It's different than other places in the world. But then again, because of America production of pharmaceutical R&D, and I mean all the stuff the Americans basically have to pay for. The rest of the world doesn't have to take on those costs. So running an internal economy functions. In America, you can't do it, right? Which is why Trump is talking about the tariff thing to try to balance that cost. It's just simple common sense economics, right?
Yes.
As far as China,
Yeah, raindrops after
their
the US.
economy has completely collapsed. It's beyond collapse. There's revolution everywhere. The cops are arresting thousands of people every freaking weekend. It's wow. It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad that the Taiwanese, who always kind of subtly mock the Chinese anyway, are openly just laughing at them. They have so little fear of China right now because, well, China, I think, is about to fight a civil war. You see Xi coming up and trying to be nice with the Trump. Trump ain't gonna be nice with you, dude. He ain't. He don't like you. He said he respects
Yeah,
you. He's just
well,
being
and I
political.
love
He
the
doesn't like
whole
you.
how they just like, oh well, nobody. You see, they feel Kamala and what she means. It's like, what is so scary about Kamala? Her
Right.
laugh?
No, of course
Is
not.
that what's scary about her?
Or Biden either. That's why they were getting now that the boss is back, so they're all getting in line. But you know what Trump needs to do, though. This is me pontificating now. You know, one of the things he really needs to do is when he gets in. I can leave that up over there, I guess. When he gets in, one of the things he needs to do is use the power of the tariff to influence the United Nations. Because the United Nations is out of control. But one of the things they need to do is take away China's status as a growing economy. The dudes, they're trying to send people into space. They have the second largest economy by size on Earth. They are no longer a growing country. Take that status away, and you'll instantly see China crumble. And with the tariff system he wants to put in place, he can force that. He could force that.
Yeah,
And he could force a lot of other things too to deal with the UN because the UN needs dealing with. They need dealing with in a serious,
yeah,
serious way. Ray Thulu says,
especially in the
I
Middle
bet
East
Biden
and North
voted for Trump.
Africa.
I bet you did too. Yeah.
No, Janet Jackson probably voted for him too, just despite Kamala.
I think
She went
Scarlett
after
Johansson did as
Black
well. Yeah. So speaking of our Biden, my spirit animal, here we go.
Poor old man. Look at him.
Oh, no,
He can't even walk in
Wait,
sand,
wait, wait.
and he's in control of the nuclear codes, guys.
Yeah. Oh,
You
He's
think they
put-
really gave him the correct codes?
Yeah, I doubt
No.
it. Yeah, you know,
No.
you see here with C-SPAN, it's like, oh, he's just goofing, he's just playing around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
No, he literally can't walk. It's
Yeah. Well, he's a
Oh, my.
super old dude. He's got lots of problems, man. I mean, you know, I don't have
Yes,
anything. That's
he
why
needs to
he's
be
my
in
spirit
a
animal now. I love him.
home.
Oh my God, Jill, you know, look at this bitch though. I mean,
I know.
she
Refuses to help him.
She doesn't do anything to help him. And watch this shit. And of course, you know, letting her dementia-ridden husband run for president when she knew he shouldn't be. That in itself is ridiculous, right? And we got a spotter here. All right. I'm gonna keep an eye on him. All right, good job. But look at this lady. She, you know, my wife. What are you doing? Wait. Why are you
Why is it
being
going
a
so-
pain in the ass?
What is it doing?
I don't know.
What did you do, Chester?
I'm gonna fix it.
Damn
Okay.
it, Chester.
Well, I don't want
Do we
you.
need to
Go.
put you in a
Who are
crystal?
you? Stop it. There it is. There. That's the problem. Okay. But here's the thing. If I were having trouble, do you know what my wife would do? She would take my arm like she did there for a second. Then she decided better about it. My wife would actually help me.
Well, not this one.
Not that one.
Not that one.
No.
That one's humiliated, is what she is.
She's pissed.
Maybe Biden needs to put his own wife into a crystal.
Put him in the crystal.
I've been
Get him
seeing
in
a lot
there.
of crystal comments. Can someone explain that to me?
It means nothing. It's just a meme. But basically, the idea is instead of killing them or putting them in prison, we're going to put them in crystals.
Oh, I see.
We're going to do it up just like Superman. Put them in the deep into crystals.
Yeah.
I was told, according to Know You Meme, apparently it's supposed to be a reference to Skyrim.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
But
I
so-
see. Okay.
You know the soul gems in
Okay.
Skyrim.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's the old thing because
All right.
it happened in
It's-
Skyrim. Ganondorf did it
Nerds.
to Zelda.
It's
in
one
the
of those
latest game.
things that triggers lefties because their brain doesn't understand
Yeah,
irony
I
or
get it
humor.
now. The
So,
Phantom
yeah.
Jones zone. Yeah. Sorry, I don't follow this SNS stuff like you guys do. Anyway, let's move on a couple other things here.
Yeah, but I posted something about where was that? In the
in the Discord,
where did I
probably.
post that?
You expect that I actually read it. Oh, it's so cute. All right. So let's see here. Wow. Mark Wade? No. Go ahead.
Superman writer has epic meltdown. Oh boy, Matt, come on, epic. Remove that from your lexicon. Meltdown over Trump. Wants to quit. Please do.
Bye, Mark. Yeah.
Quit ever writing anything ever again.
Yeah.
Just, in fact,
Well,
I want to ban one thing. Can we ban him from owning any implement that allows him to put down words onto any form
it'd
of
be
paper
good.
or
He only
text?
wrote one
Just-
good thing anyway, and it was
Just ban him from it forever.
Yeah. But of course, here's another one of the common foes that this channel knows very well. Oh, is it Deconic? Oh no. What did she say?
Captain Marvel writer. I'm not saying it again. has meltdown following Trump victory.
Uh-huh.
Again, Matt, stop
Is
saying epic, Matt.
is
It's 10-year-old meme.
anyone surprised that Wade and DeConnick are having meltdowns over Trump?
No,
Anybody?
first of all, how old is
No.
DeConnick with that nose ring? What are we doing?
I
What are
know
we doing?
she's my age, right, or older.
Oh,
It's so stupid. This whole nose ring thing I hate. But once again, I always kind of looked at it as a generational thing. Well, it's not cool to me. Like I had the kind of 80s earring in the left ear, the right ear, the correct ear. And my father hated that shit, right?
yeah.
I kind of looked at it as the same thing, but it seems to be clinging. I don't know. The nose ring is so dumb to me. I never understood it, but I'm not going to judge it because, like I said, generational.
It's very dumb.
It
No,
is.
I don't know.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the weird thing these women are doing to their hair. Some of them are doing really weird things to their haircuts and earlier I was looking at stuff with my wife, and there was this young lady who had on so much makeup she looked like a clown.
Yeah, we see a lot of that
Yeah.
too.
More makeup
This
than is it Mimi from the Drew Carey show?
That is
it was
Shugri-Doo.
about that level, yeah. These trends that we're seeing, they have to go. This
Yeah.
septum piercing thing it's not
Yeah.
who's attracted to that? Who looks at that like, yep,
No.
that's what I want.
I try not to comment on fashion very much though, because I understand it's constantly in motion. But I mean, me personally, I don't like it, but I try not to judge on it because, like I said, fashion is one of those things. Yeah. But Raythul is correct. He says, I love nose rings. It's just as effective as colored hair to let you know the girl ain't right in the head. That's fair. Well, the thing that pisses me off about the color hair, I come from the 80s and all the cool anime girls had the colored hair and they ruined that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my wife used to really color her hair a lot too, and then these lefties got in there, and she's like, in fact, when we first met, she had I think it was like blue or something, like a dark blue, and I was worried that she was, one of them. She's not. She's like to color her hair, right? Women used to just do that for fun. Then it became this weird thing where it was a political thing. But yeah, they've ruined it. They have ruined it for a lot of normal women. You're not allowed to be a normal woman anymore and do things like color your hair. It's too
Well,
much.
They ruined it. What has them? They ruined. They ruined TV. They ruined music,
It's true.
comics.
I think Booster.
I mean, if you want to read a good woman writer, you have to go all the way to Japan now.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, there are a lot of them here. There's a lot of them here. I think Booster is Twitter pated. He says, I got crazy for Clusie. I need clown pussy. I don't think that's how you pronounce that first word. But anyway, I get your point. Yeah.
No, let's just sleep by him and be done with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, if this woman goes out in the sunlight, does she
Adrian.
die?
Booster? Yeah, I
Get
think
to
I think they're afraid of light, yeah, or something like that. The funny thing is in my classroom because I have Japanese kids, high school kids will take the class trips to New Zealand. It's one of the more common destinations. So I actually have several little stuffed kiwi plushies in my classroom. Anyway, so we got Wade, we got DeConnick, and I just thought we'd just look at the general consensus here. Sad as it is, Mark Hamill's lost his damn mind. Of course, we know this, but he's not alone. We have some tweets. We have
no. He went to a new level of lost his mind.
He did. And of course, we have all these
Yeah,
people
because
who.
I actually know someone that he tried to cancel.
Oh well, that's I'm not surprised at all. But of course, we have all of these.
And here's the kick though. So he thought this one guy voted for George W. Bush. The guy knows boss said no, these are my stickers, and Mark still tried to get him fired. Then they see each other at Comic-Con, and Mark decides to give him the finger.
Of course. Yeah, no, he's a Class A character.
Kind
If
of
you hadn't
people.
noticed, yeah.
Yeah, oh, Trump is a bully. And it's like, no, you people, heroes are all bullies because they will literally try to get you fired.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, Trump is a bully. Yes, what do you think?
He is a bully to criminals. He doesn't like him very much. What a wonder. But Booster, keep your hands off my students.
Wait, what students? What? What's happened?
He wants me to
You,
send
you're.
his legal age Japanese students to his destination. He needs juicy. Okay. But of course, we have all these people here who endorsed Kamala. Now, keep in mind, some of these here are true believers, and some of these here people have dirt on them. Like Diddy stuff,
Mm,
Epstein stuff.
Like
that
Mark
part
Um,
too.
Hamill, yeah.
yeah, some of them, right?
Because
But
remember, Mark really started to change his tune and get this radical after he was talking all that shit about the Last Jedi, and then a phone call came in at some point
it
and said,
changed,
"Shut
didn't
the
it?
hell up,
Yeah.
shut the hell up, Mark." And then all of a sudden, he was hardcore mega Democrat after
Hmm.
that, like hardcore. He was
Yeah,
always,
something happened.
obviously,
Someone's got
but
some shit on him.
yeah,
But anyway, let's take a look at some of these comments here. This is after the fact. These are all after the fact. They say we get the leaders we deserve. Who says this, Mark? Either that just has been disproven, or this is not the America we all thought we were living in. Well, I don't know, Mark. You got a lot of your fellow countrymen who are very, very happy that Trump has been elected and very, very sick of shit like you've been spewing. So we'll see.
yep,
We'll see. Then this one is a bit sad for me. I know you guys, well, maybe Ethereal, but I grew up with Married with Children, and therefore
yeah.
Christina Applegate. Everyone had a crush on her. She's very upset. She's going to go in her little bubble and watch a lot of Bravo shows, which I have no clue what that means. And she's
The
basically,
station Bravo.
I don't know what it means, but I'm assuming
It's
it's
where all the gay
Hallmark shit.
shows are.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
All
no,
right.
no, 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 no. The other way. It's where all the degenerate shit they pretend is wholesome is.
Oh, I see. But
Yeah.
she says that her child is sobbing. Now, I've seen a lot of these videos pop up where the little young kids are hyperventilating, and the mother is saying, I know we're all gonna die." It's that's abusive, dude. That's abusive. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. It's
And
it's
this
a
is why the Democrats are supposed to have the enemy of the country.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But another thing with Christina, other than being an icon of my youth, that she's lived through a lot of actual, real, serious physical trouble. I mean, it's sad. Her medical history is quite sad. It's unfortunate. But on top of that, she has TDS. That kind of sucks, dude. It just
Yeah,
does.
it's it's a shame because and unfortunately as what happens with these people when they start to lose their mind, she is physically unraveled too. She looks like
Yeah,
she's
it's
eaten
a shame.
an entire apple orchard.
Dude,
Uh
she's got MS, she's got cancer several
yeah,
times. She's really has bad
she
medical
is
issues. Yeah,
physically unraveled.
yeah, she
And
is.
and it's unfortunate because I think that's a big reason why the TDS is so strong, right? These
Well,
people are that's what I was saying earlier, Chester. These people are vulnerable. They've been preyed
they
on.
have been, and I just hope she takes her own advice and just get away from it. You don't need it. You have more important things to deal with. Don't worry about
When
this
they
dumb
say
shit.
things like the one you're about to you I just saw in here somewhere where it says things like the View calling for me, social media censorship so this doesn't happen again. That is a confession. They are confessing that they're susceptible and that they know the people listening to them are susceptible to propaganda and manipulation at a very high level, and they don't want to have to deal with it.
Also,
It's
I
a
mean,
cognitive
the amount
dissonance
of
thing.
Maybe, maybe
did you
Adrian.
know that the amount of calls to the suicide hotline has
Oh yeah, we
skyrocketed?
mentioned that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. And over politics. What's wrong with you? Come on now. But then we have this Billie Eilish. It's a war on women. Now, Billie Eilish is an interesting thing to me because we have a lot of pop music is always hit or miss. There are some legendary voices in pop, of course, and we could sit here and name them off. But in general, pop is just generic. It's your introduction to music as a tween, right? Is
Mhm.
really what pop music is, and that's fine. Some of it does become iconic. But have you ever listened to this girl sing?
Yeah.
Well, let me help you out. She doesn't sing. She whispers. She doesn't
Correct.
sing at all. There's no singing at all. She's just whispering. But yet it's not rap though. See, rap, I would say, okay, well, that's poetry. That's slam poetry is what rap is, right? But she's not rap. She's not. singing. She's literally just whisper talking. So it's like I'm not really sure what it is, but
She
somehow she's
was
popular.
she did the last Bond movie song, right? No Time to Die, and I like that song. I don't know about any of her other music, but
No, I haven't heard that
that
one.
song's good.
But no, I
Uh,
haven't seen the latest Bonds. Why would I watch that? But I've seen a bunch of her music pop up, and she's literally just whispering. I don't get it. And I also don't really care what you think, Billy. I really don't. And I'd love for you to sit and write me a little short essay of how it's a war on women, please. Let me
when
know.
you're a
I'd love,
multimillionaire
yeah.
at the age of like 22 or whatever she is,
Well, I don't even care about
what
that. I'm just curious
who's
of
fighting the
where's the
war
war
and
on
why
women?
are
Yeah.
how did
Where
you
is it?
win? If there's this great war on women, how did you win there, darling? What happened here?
Well, no, she's
Because
saying it is a war, so she wants to win. But I mean, my point being is, please explain
no,
to me this war. I would like to know.
I'm saying she had to have won the war, or else she wouldn't be able to be this wealthy at that age. She'd be
Oh,
pumped
you
full of
talk about
babies right now.
her inability to see beyond her own face. Oh, yeah, that. Oh,
Exactly.
okay, yeah.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
I keep
No,
hearing
but we're
this.
losing our rights to have abortions, and they're
No,
gonna
once again,
government's gonna ban any abortion in the country
no
and go after
state.
women that had miscarriage.
Yeah, but the thing
At
is,
least
no
according to
state
them.
in America has any law like that at all. None of them. None of them. There is no state in America that has any rules regarding miscarriage at all. There is no state in America that has banned abortion at all. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about. None of this exists. Trump washed his hands of this shit freaking back in 2016. He's like, dude, it should be with the states, and that's all I had to say about it. And that's all he ever has said about it.
Yep.
So I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, but
about. I'd
according
love
to
to hear about this war on women, please.
it's just
They don't
literally
know.
one of the talking points. Even one,
It's
two of my
yeah.
cousins had posted some bull crap. It's like saying that, oh, you,
Oh,
all
that's
these
good,
people that,
Mister.
oh,
Fair
how
enough.
did it go? And like, like, oh, what was it? What did they say? How does that thing people keep putting up goes?
I don't know.
Let me
Oh, Billy
find
Fat
it.
Tits.
Please do. But I'm assuming that it's just simply about the abortion thing, which I just told you there's no truth to it. I mean, literally, there are no states in America that have any laws against miscarriage or make abortion legal. None.
The
None of
deep
them.
red state that I live in passed an amendment to our constitution to allow abortions.
Yeah, they all did.
So it is now constitutionally a right in
Yeah, state
Ohio.
constitutions. Yeah, every one of them did. Every
Yeah,
single one of them did.
I'm
Now,
saying.
some of them
Calm
have
down.
different amounts of weeks or something like that, and
Right.
most of them have gone with that 20. What is it, 22 weeks, which I personally think is too long, personally. But they all did that because that's what happened. The Supreme Court said, "Yeah, this isn't a federal thing at all. We're kicking this out," because they didn't ban Roe v. Wade. They just simply said this isn't even a constitutional thing. It shouldn't be in the federal
Which,
government at all. That's all they
by the
did.
way,
Mm.
their favorite justice, Miss Ruth Bader Ginsburg, agreed with that.
100%. Yeah, she was very much in
She
agreement with that.
openly
Yeah.
said that it was wrong, that the decision was wrong, and she kept getting shit for it for years,
Yeah,
and she's never backed
because
away from it because it was
no,
wrong.
because she wanted to have the California take where it was extremely long. It's actually not.
Yep.
It's a positive negative, right?
Right.
But I mean, this whole thing with war on women, if it's just the abortion thing, you're a bunch of morons. If it's something else, well, tell me, fill me in. Where's this war on women? Because I can see there's a war on men. That's quite clear, especially
See, she's
white
missing a
men.
word, Chester. She's missing a word. War on crazy women.
Yeah,
That's what
but
that's
even
what she
there, I
means.
don't know that there is. Where's
Because
there a war
all
on
this
crazy women?
leftist stuff that everybody's complaining about and bitching about, and that we hate the woke, all
Yeah, I
that.
saw that,
Well,
Adrian.
who do you think are the main proponents of it? The main proponents of it on the ground level are crazy, miserable women. Women
Well,
who are
say
on so many medications, it's outrageous. They're
I
basically a bunch of junkies walking around on these streets.
Yeah, no, that is a problem. But it sounds like Booster has found a use for Billie Eilish. Oh goodness, let me go check it out.
She does have some very large
I
boobies.
don't. I've seen her face. I think. I don't know much about her. Let's see here. That's no, that's not bad.
She goes
That
out of
Lady
her way
Gaga
to hide
thing.
the fact
The Lady
that
Gaga
she
thing is
has
not bad.
large boobies, but she does have large boobies.
I'm assuming I have to search for it
There,
directly.
went down.
Okay.
You went. If you go down, there was a picture. I seen it. Her in a dress. There you go. Right there. Right there in the middle, where it says "Leave me alone." Yeah, she's got some boobies on her.
Oh, this one. Yeah, I need more. I need more.
Don't worry, she's of age, so it's fine. You're allowed to look
Obviously,
this
she's
up.
oh shit.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Safe search is off.
Uh-oh.
Holy shit. You are right, Booster.
Yeah.
She is a bit chunky for me, but some guys like that though. That's another thing with ladies always complaining about body positivity and shit. It's like, you can look like anything and have any shape whatsoever, and there's dudes that are going to find you hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what your shape is. There's dudes that are going to find you hot. 100%. That's not always true the opposite way. But with women, yeah, I don't care what you look like. There's going to be a dude who's going to want you. But she big old titties. You're right. And it looks like she put them on the internet for everyone to see. So there you go.
Well, got to make money somehow.
I suppose. But anyway, that's what she said. Joffrey Wright. That sounds awful familiar. Who's that guy? That sounds
I have
familiar.
no idea.
I know he sounds familiar. Let me go see. 'Cause I can't see his picture very clearly though. And
What's funny is all these
oh, this
all
guy.
these
Yeah.
oh boy, it's now he's really never gonna watch that movie. All these crying leftoids saying, "I'm gonna leave X, I'm gonna leave Twitter, I can't." Sweetheart, Schnookum,
This.
darling, baby girl, I hate to tell you something, but that just means you're not gonna know what happens in the
Yeah,
world
yeah.
because the sad reality, whether you like it or not, is Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, it is the world's town square. And the only reason why right wingers were not shocked and amazed that Trump did this is because a lot of us pay attention to what's happening on X. And like Elon said, if you'd been paying attention, you shouldn't have been surprised. He said he knew 4 hours before anybody called anything that Trump had it in the bag. You know how he knew that? Because he was looking at the aggregate data on X.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't even know what a ladybugs is, Alan. I know what they are. They're little bugs.
The movie. You've never seen the movie Ladybugs? Wait.
No.
No.
Wait a minute. You've never seen Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield, Chester?
No, I do like Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, you need to go watch that.
I
It's
only
not a
saw
good movie.
one movie, and it was one where
But
he
you
went
should
back.
watch it.
He went back to college.
Nope. You should definitely
Which
watch
one's that?
Ladybugs.
I think it's Back to College.
I've never seen that one either.
Yeah. Anyway, Jeffrey Wright. I know who he is now. He's a guy from The Batman playing Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
He's also in Westworld. He's actually a really good actor. He wasn't very good in The Batman though, but in Westworld he killed it though. He was killing
Yep.
it. But anyway, let's see what old Jeffrey has to say and see if I believe he believes it or is he being blackmailed like so many others. Was thinking the day before the election about doing this. Okay. There's nothing to be gained on this site anymore. Okay, that's fair. Maybe there never was. Only things to be lost, as we just witnessed. Was funny, at times at least, and an information portal. I think he's quitting. He's breaking up with Twitter. Now embittered, diversive, childish, chaotic, and intentionally so. Dude, Twitter has always been that. What are you talking
Always.
about?
At all times.
Yes,
At all
but
times,
yeah,
from day one, as is Facebook. It's addictive and ultimately stupefying by design. Yes, it took you this long to catch that. The disinformation here is a weapon used on the vulnerable to distill power down to. Jeffrey. It's working. This is a dead end. There are other means. I'm out. Cool. That's fine.
Mhm.
But everything you just said is an obvious thing that has always been true. And do keep in mind before a little weird, awkward nerd from South Africa came in and bought it, it was your weapon, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally used it to overthrow multiple governments around the world.
Yeah. But of course, everything else is said is true.
But
It is
the government
embittered,
wanted to
diversive,
protect them,
childish,
obviously.
chaotic, and intentionally so. It is that.
Yeah. Well, it's because here's why. I'll tell you why. Real simple, real quick. It's because it's short form communication with no consequence. That's why. You give people the ability to communicate in a very concise manner. Well, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get a lot of assholes who use it to attack, which there's a lot of that. And two, it makes it near impossible to have a nuanced conversation about things to actually. Now, granted, now since Elon took it over, if you have a check mark, you can make longer tweets, longer posts,
Uh-huh.
but most people don't have that. So what they have to do is they either have to make a long thread to get their point across, or they have to try and be as concise as possible. While brevity is the soul of wit, it is not the soul of rationality.
Mhm.
You need to be able to explain yourself, and Twitter doesn't promote that really. So that's one of the reasons why it's such a toxic place, because it's far easier to be negative than it is positive.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but we all know that Levin's gonna route that with their paragraph long memes.
Last one I have here is from Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, Jamie
Oh
Lee
boy,
Curtis,
your
of
favorite.
course, well, no, when I was young, she was a hottie of my generation, and she was a hottie boy. I'll show you, and I'll turn off the moderate internet too, because I'm sure she's got her tits out a lot, a lot. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, she was a hottie for my generation, and she's in some fun things, for sure. Of course, Halloween. Although her most modern rendition of it ruined it. It was horrible. But let's see what she's got. She got an eagle, hold on to American flag, and there's a fish. Don't know why, but symbolism. Let's see here. Your flag and my flag, the flag that flies above, the nation where we work and live, the country that we love. All right, what's wrong with that? That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. I know she's a Wookiee, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. I agree. Well, let's go see here. Let's find ourselves a young, because yeah, she got some titties, but she ain't so pretty. Let's take a look at Jamie Lee Curtis though. So let me give us an adjective here.
Oh
Young.
boy.
Hi. There we go. Hmm. Yeah, much better than the Eilish, I would say. Oh yeah. Yep. In black and white even. Yeah, that's how old we are. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I used to have black and white TV set. Deal with it. Oh, ooh, we have some nip slips here. Yeah, she was smoking though, dude.
Yeah.
Nah,
No, thank you.
she was smoking. You know how hard it is for any woman to rock a short haircut? It's
Yeah,
hard,
and
and
she's
she
not doing
rocks
it.
it. No, dude, she rocks it. What are you talking
No,
about? Look at that. All
I'm
day,
afraid.
all
I'll give her
day.
this. She was always, especially back then, she was always in fantastic physical shape. She
Oh
had a
yeah, yeah,
great,
yeah, yeah.
great build
Well,
on
she
her.
took her
But
job seriously. Yeah.
I can't with that. Very few women can pull off a short haircut, and unfortunately, Jamie is not one of
No, I disagree. I think she's one of the few that have shown she can. But that's smoking. I mean, come on, dude. That's all day, all day. You ain't kicking that out of bed.
them.
I don't want to hear it. I want to
Eh.
hear it. Look at that. Look at that,
Yeah, and
dude.
look at her hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
with her
Oh,
haircut like
fine,
that, yes,
fine.
I
Be
wouldn't kick
like
her out of
that.
bed.
Be
That one,
like that.
no. Get
You're
out of
right.
here. Get out
Well,
of here,
no,
little boy.
she does look
Get out of
better
here,
with.
little
She
boy.
does look better with the hair. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. See.
But yeah, it's hard for a woman to rock short hair. But yeah, no, she was a hottie. But somewhere in her during her travels, she decided to become a very, very liberal. Maybe she always was. Uh,
You're being scolded by Grimlock, just so we're clear.
dude, she has great titties,
She
and
does.
that's
Those are
worth
very
that.
nice.
Dude, that's 90% of the battle.
Butterface. I'll give you that, Chester. Butterface.
You people. All right. So, all righty then. Well, let's take a look at our box office that we always do. And let's see what how the weekend was. Of course, I'm kind of curious what
Terrible.
the weekend looks like because the election, right?
Yeah.
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 Let's see here. So 16 million domestically. That's what it's kind of been for a while. Venom, which some of the critics I've seen said that it's better than the others a little bit.
It's
So
not saying much.
No, it's not. But we do have 11 million domestically on 3,000 feet. That's not very good. For the best Christmas pageant ever. That sounds awful, Hallmarky. Um,
Lionsgate. What?
Lionsgate, a fantasy,
CG?
mystery, romance, adventure, comedy, drama. Wow,
What?
every category, I guess, except for horror.
It's a
Um,
everything movie. All right.
it's an everything movie. Nobody's ready for the mayhem and surprises that ensue when six of the worst youngsters disrupt the town's early Christmas performance. So it's a
Lord.
shithead kid movie. Great. All right.
Sounds
Great.
that way.
Another new one we got here is Heretic. Similar money. Two young religious women are drawn into a game of cat and mouse in the house of a strange man. As 20% of all horror movies have said. Mm,
Well, it's A24, so they're hit or miss, but they're usually a hit.
but they're cheap and they probably
Yep,
already made multiple times their budget.
I'd imagine.
Let's see here. Another new one we have is Elevation. It's only $1 million though. This must be bad. This action sci-fi thriller, and it's only got $1 million. A single, but this will come to DVD though, won't it? A single father and two women venture from the safety of their homes to face monstrous creatures to save the young life of a young boy. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Vertical Media. Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom. What is that? Animation, I guess. Oh, it's Chinese. Okay, we don't need that. Christmas Eve in Miller's House. Dude, Miller's Point, you only made $73,000. That's kind of bad. Bird? Is that like Charlie Parker Bird? Oh god, that's stupid. All right. No, I saw that one. Yeah, that looked dumb as hell. Her father's a hippie and he's just so much fun. Okay. On Christmas Eve, a family gathers for what could be the last holiday in their ancestral home. Aw. As the night wears on and generational tensions arise, one of the teenagers sneaks out with her friends to claim the wintry suburb for her own. Yeah. What? Fuck off. All right. All right. So nothing interesting. It wasn't a good weekend. Of course, not surprising, right? Smile is still kicking though. 60 million, dude. They've made money. Look at that.
They're doing all right. They're
That
doing
is
all right.
nice. Wild Robot has not broken even. I guarantee you. Terrifier 53. Dude, $53 million off of what? $2 million budget? Yeah, we're getting another one.
Oh,
Quick.
more like a number 5. Let's face it. As soon as one horror movie does well, you know they're gonna milk it for all it's worth.
Oh, thank you, Ray Thulu. He said Overlord is Japanese IP. Okay. He said there are
Yapon.
4 seasons anime spinoff. Oh, okay. But yeah, no, you're right. Ethereal Terrifier. But I watched it and I was great fun. I enjoyed it
Well, like
100%.
I said, when we went to the mall the other day, they got all kinds of merch, even in
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah,
So
Overlord. Yeah,
they're making
Overlord
money.
is another trapped in the video game anime.
Interesting.
Hugh Grant's a good villain, by the way, Ellen. I've enjoyed his switch here recently. He was in that
Hugh
guy.
Grant's just a good actor in
He
general.
is,
He's
but he
always
was
been a
in
good
that
actor.
he was in that Guy Pearce movie that came out a few years ago. It was excellent, dude. I think that might have been the best Guy
No,
Pearce movie ever made.
the coming out of Toy Story 5, it looks like Buzz is Lightyear's going to be the villain again.
Why do we didn't need a fourth one? They can't
I mean, they were
leave
going to do
well enough
another
alone.
Toy Story movie. They should have just, changed it to a new protagonist.
Yeah, why don't we get Mr. Potato Head, the prequel? I'd be down for that.
Listen, no, stay away from prequels because Lightyear was a quote prequel.
Oh, that movie
Yeah, don't go
really
about
bombed
that.
hardly, very hard. That bombed, yeah. But I mean, what do you want?
No, and they didn't blame the lesbian kiss in it,
Yeah, but
not the
we
bad
talked about
writing.
that quite extensively here, Ethriel. The fact that it's another situation where Hollywood had the thing completely written for them, but they decided that they're better than that, so we're just going to do our own thing. Because
That's right.
I have kids, I've seen every Toy Story movie, and all they had to do was show us the movie that what's his name? Not Billy. Andy. Show
Andy.
us the movie that Andy saw that got him into Buzz. That's all you had to do was show us the movie that Andy had seen and made him so excited about Buzz Lightyear. That's it. That's all you had to do. Unbelievable. And we know some of the plot of it because what it was the third one I think it was the third one. What was the one that had the miner in it, the old curmudgeon miner? Was that second or
Well,
third one? I think it was the second
well,
one.
I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
Yeah, which Toy Story is the one that had the old curmudgeon miner in it and Jesse? I think it was the second one, right?
I believe you're
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
But in that movie, with because Zurg was in that movie, we got a little bit of the layout of the plot of the movie that Andy had seen, right? They laid it out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that whole they could have made boku bucks off of Buzz Lightyear, dude. It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
No, but Chester, you see, the message was more important.
Yeah, of course.
Far more important than making money. And well, guess what? They didn't. So we win again. We win again.
Don't forget
gentlemen.
also having a cute animal thingy to make toys.
I guess whatever. But the only thing they've hit was that what was his name, Drogu, the little Baby Yoda.
Grogu, yeah,
That hit.
little Baby Yoda.
That definitely
Yeah.
hit. People love that.
Yeah, women like that a lot.
Oh, my
Big
nieces
fan.
have a toy of him.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, it is cute. I get it. My wife was like,
Mhm.
"Aw," so I see the power of it. They said he was called Zurg because robots couldn't say buzz. Robots could not say buzz. Booster, lay off the drugs.
That's what they said in the thing because a robot can't say buzz. Yeah, that's how dumb it was, Chester. That's his point. It was real stupid.
Oh,
It
wow.
was real stupid.
That is real dumb.
Oh yeah, making Buzz into a joke. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
stupid.
those
Especially to the
movies
fact
were.
that not only did we have the movies, we had the freaking cartoon.
Yeah, that's true. But those movies were made for little kids. But they were written in kind of somewhat of a similar style to the old Looney Tunes, so that the adults could have a little bit of fun too when taking their kids to it. But mainly, it's a kids thing, so it's got to be kind of dumb. I mean, you can't get so sophisticated. They're little kids. I mean, it's little kid stuff.
Little kids understand that robots can say buzz, Chester.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
They're
But
little. They're not retarded.
but the first three, though, my kids did love them.
No, the first three movies are three of the greatest movies, animated movies especially, ever made.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal.
They were great.
The fourth one is an abomination. It should never have existed. And that Lightyear movie, let's just all collectively as a species forget it ever happened.
Yeah.
That's for the best.
Yeah.
We'll just put it over here. Kind of like the E.T. game on Atari. We just put it in the desert,
Mhm.
bury that son of a bitch, and we all just pretend
That's
it
true.
never happened.
That is true.
Yes,
Yeah.
but somebody dug it up.
Yeah, this is the problem. Humans can't leave well enough alone, damn it. Just leave it alone.
Well, I feel like there's still a controversy on the table. I do have to leave here shortly, but I'd like to deal with the controversy though before doing so, because I'm told that this is the sexiest man in Britain, and that
Believe it.
our Jamie Lee, wherever she is, oh, here we go, is not the hottie that she actually is. So you tell me who the hottie is then. Go ahead.
Let's see. Modern or previous?
I don't care. Someone that's hotter than this girl. There are many.
Hotter than Jamie Lee Curtis?
there's
Well,
many,
come
but,
on. Now, that's just easy. Like, what are we doing here? What race do you want, Chester? I'll let you pick.
Don't let me pick. You know what I pick.
That's true. That's a good point. All right. Aside from Asian, pick somebody else. And don't say Indian. That's not fair. They're ugly.
Well, there's a couple cute ones, but
in a country of over 1 billion people, only having a couple cute ones is not a win. That's not a W.
this is my
That's
vote
like
for
how
the-
Russia
one
had
of the sexiest black ladies ever.
She was very cute.
Damn,
She was. Yep.
Angela
Yep.
Bassett.
She still looks pretty good
dude.
for a lady her
She
age. I'm not
does,
gonna lie.
but she was a smoke show, man. That movie she was in with um who was it was like not Supernova, but it was like a sci-fi movie. She was that guy who did Blacklist. Who was that guy who's James Spader? James Spader. She was in
Yes.
there with James Spader. Oh, she was the peak of her beauty, dude. Yeah, that's an attractive lady right there. Um,
Very attractive.
yeah,
Very
for
beautiful.
sure. But all right, there's I gave you one that was not a
There's a
white
black one.
girl. There's a black
There you
one.
go. See, he reached out across the
I
aisle,
did.
found him a
I
black
did.
one.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, she'd have been
let's
great Storm,
see.
dude. Yeah.
A white girl. I mean, there's Chester. Come on, there's so many white girls that are hotter than Jamie Lee Curtis. Do we even really need to do this?
There
We're
are a
just gonna
lot,
make
but
her
go ahead and
feel
give me
bad.
one.
Ah, boy. All right. How about Michelle Pfeiffer? Young Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I don't care for Michelle Pfeiffer, but I'll show
You're
you.
out of your fucking
I've
mind.
never cared for her.
I
But
don't even like
So,
blondes.
go
I'm
home.
not a big
You're
fan either.
drunk.
But the thing with Jamie Lee is she did have that sex appeal, though.
Oh, Chester. I think you
She
just
knew
have
how
a
to
fetish.
move, dude. She knew how to move. I know you're right.
There
Yeah,
you go.
okay.
Look, she even had a short cut
Before
once.
she cut her hair, she was cuter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But see,
Chester,
this
I'm gonna
is
give you
kind of
another one.
cute. I hate this though. I hate the older woman Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, yeah,
Because
she got
it's
old. She hit the wall. It happens.
well, no, I'm just talking about she did it
There you
very
go.
early. She did it.
Booster gave us one. Alexandra Daddario. You want to see some boobies?
I don't know who this
Make
is.
sure that safe search is on.
I did, yeah.
Joshua, shut up! I was leading to that.
What's her name? Dubois? No, something.
DADD.
Here it
There you
is.
go.
Here
It found
it
it for
is,
you.
yeah.
It found it for you.
Oh, ew. What? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? This definitely looks like a dude. And talk about little bitty, itty bitty titties. What are you smoking? Did I just lose everybody? What happened?
I was kissing my wife.
Oh, that's
Chester.
fine. You can do that.
Um,
Yeah, this girl
Are you
isn't hot at
crazy?
all.
Go back up. Go
Dude,
back
this
up. Go
girl's
back
not
up.
hot at all. She looks like a dude.
Go down. Go down. Where'd the picture go? Right there, right in the middle. You're going right past it again.
Here?
Right in the middle. Up. No, these are pictures when she was a kid. Right there. You're right. It's right in the middle. No, over one. Over one. I rest my case, sir. Not that one. The other one. You son of a bitch. You know which one I want. Yeah, you put young and they have pictures from when she was like a teenager. She's
I
she's
did
in her
that for
30s. She's
Jamie
not old.
and for Angela because they're much older now. I can get rid of it.
Yeah, Raquel Welch. Yeah.
Raquel Welch is certainly. Yeah, I don't
I got you
find
another
this
one,
girl very
Chester.
attractive at all, dude. I don't agree
Yeah,
with you
because you
people.
don't like white women, Chester. We've
Yeah,
established
I
this.
don't agree. You guys are wrong.
Stacy Keibler.
An elf?
Yep. The tallest elf ever created. It's spelled just like the elves, too. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, get out of here with that Jamie Lee Curtis shit is hot. No, she has a nice body, but her face is a mess. It's a mess. Always has been.
Yeah. I'm just not big into blonde girls, dude.
Feel.
Yeah, but she's a pretty girl. She's a pretty girl. She looks Swedish, actually.
She has arguably the greatest legs to ever exist in the history of legs. Arguably. They're incredibly long and just perfectly shaped.
Hello, Ed.
I guess she is. Yeah.
You talking about?
All right, Chester.
You guys are
who's
not
coming,
impressing
right?
me. You know that, right?
You know who's coming, right?
Oh, Stacy Keibler? Yeah.
No. Chester, you know who's coming, right? Just you might as well just search it. I don't even have to say it.
I
don't even have to say it.
I don't know. You guys go to hell. Don't know what
you're gonna tell me Miss Connolly is not a smoke show. Even though she's your cousin, you can admit she's a very pretty girl.
What?
she she corrupted an entire generation of young men, Chester.
That
She did.
is true.
She did.
Very true.
She became the quintessential girl next door for years.
Yeah, I know.
Years.
I know. You guys go to hell though. Yeah, I'm still not impressed. Yeah, just so you know, though, Keebler actually is a Germanic pronunciation of
She's Aryan.
a
Aryan
follower
goddess.
or a member of the priesthood of Cupid or Eros.
Aryan goddess. Right there. You're looking
Yeah.
at it. Looking at
Yeah,
it
no,
right
no,
there.
she looks very Swedish to me. Extremely Swedish.
She,
yeah.
by the way, she's still like these pictures aren't
She's
even
in
from when
great
she was
shape
younger.
too. Good for her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's still gorgeous.
She's in
Just
good shape.
gorgeous.
She is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, no, she's a pretty girl. It's just not my thing. Who is the girl from
Not Asian.
Underworld?
Not Asian
I thought
enough
she was
for you.
hot. Who's the girl from
Well, but-
Underworld?
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah,
Kate
Kate Beckinsale.
Blanchett?
Yeah,
No, we don't
Beckinsale.
want
Beckinsale.
Beck-
Beckinsale.
Beckinsale. Oh, it's spelled like that. I see.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, I always
Oh,
thought
yeah.
she was kind of pretty.
I had a thing for her
Sure.
back in the day.
Yeah.
She's all right. Wouldn't throw her out. Wouldn't not kick her out of the bed.
Yeah, I especially in the Underworld, they did something with her eyes.
I was a
and
fan. They
yeah.
did something with her in
Yeah,
Underworld that made her just
it worked
well.
really well.
Yeah.
They gothed her up. That's what they did. She looked
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was
that's
her
what I see
eyes.
it.
They did something with her eyes. Yeah.
But she was well
La-
fit for that role too. She just
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
she
good.
did a
Uh-oh.
good job. She sold it really
We're in
well.
trouble now. Here comes Grimlock. We are
Oh
in
my God.
trouble now.
Haley Atwell. Haley Atwell. Let's
booty.
see what a Haley.
big booties.
Oh yeah,
Comes
Haley
from
Atwell.
the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I missed how we got on this topic. I had to leave.
You guys like these kind of short-necked, puggy girls. What's up with that?
She's like 5'10", but
She's
okay.
Puggy, little pugs. Yeah.
Chester, if you
The
notice, there's a
Swedish
theme
girl at least
here.
had a body on her.
If you
I'm
notice,
actually
there's a
not
theme here.
a big fan of this girl.
She has gigantic tits.
But there's,
Yeah, tits are okay, but I mean, I want more than
Well,
that.
Wait a minute. That's
Well,
your whole
you're
argument
just
for
having
Jamie
no
Lee
business
Curtis,
with
who looks
the
like a
No.
Frankenstein monster
No,
with
that's
tits.
his. That's his reason, not mine.
No, I just said she was in good shape. She always kept herself in great
She
shape.
was in
She
good
did.
shape. But
No doubt about it.
I grew up with Jamie Lee Curtis, and she has
And
when
she
she's
had-
on screen, she has that sex appeal just dripping off her, dude.
No, she has
No.
nice tits
No.
and otherwise a body of a fucking skinny man.
Fine. You
She
guys
doesn't
just
have much
hate
curve. That's true. She doesn't have much curve.
Puggy. Chester Gate confirmed. This is not. Look at the body on this
Chester,
girl. She's all
Would you like me to give you the ultimate?
truncated.
The
Chester
ultimate
fucks
girl?
giraffes, confirmed. That's what Jamie Lee
somebody's
Curtis
got-
is.
All righty,
Chester,
I
my
didn't say
friend, I
she
know
was
you
the
don't like-
hottest. I just said she could be. Anyway,
I know
what?
you don't like blonde.
Nah, you was calling her a smoke show and all that shit.
She was.
You were.
No,
You were.
absolutely, she was.
I
smoke
will
show.
give you
Hey,
your
yeah,
generation.
she's hot in a smoky room. Mm.
I'm gonna give
You're
you
fucking
your
dying.
generation's it girl. Are you ready?
It's fucking Linda Carter.
Wow, that one
no
works
way.
too. That
no
wasn't
way.
what I was
no
gonna
way.
use.
Go
but
to
that
hell.
one works.
No, you're wrong.
Better
100%.
looking than Jamie Lee Curtis.
No.
All right,
You're
you ready?
100% wrong.
Are you
Yeah,
ready?
but she's
Are
also
you
really-
ready then?
Not Linda Carter.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Farrah was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add something maybe a little better than what you guys?
I
are
have
choosing? It's
another
just gonna
one as
help
well.
You out, though. I gotta help you
A more
out 'cause
recent one.
you guys are dropping the ball here.
Let's see.
It's,
What do we
it's
got?
embarrassing
All right.
to be honest with you. I mean,
Jessica
really.
Elba. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
I was going
is
to the
a
Latinas.
beautiful woman.
I was going to the Latinas. I was going to go with Selma, but hey, we'll take Jessica.
Well,
We'll
Selma,
take Jessica.
Selma's got sex appeal all day and every day,
Yeah.
and twice on
Yeah.
Saturdays.
I liked
no,
Dark
without
Angel
question.
when she was on Dark Angel.
Oh, her
The good
that
thing
What
girl.
about,
about what's her name? Skate girl.
The good thing about Elba is she's the only, like I said the other day, she's the only smart one. She made her money, invested her money wisely, and got the fuck out.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
left Hollywood.
Yeah. She now has like the Honest Company and all that stuff. She makes tons of money on that.
Oh yeah, she's a billionaire. I'm pretty sure one
Yeah.
company's worth about $1 billion.
I mean, you mentioned Indian. The only one I can remember. I don't know. She's not that hot though. But the only one I can think of that's kind of attractive is what's her name? I think that's how I know how to do the last name. I think that's correct. Yeah, this girl. I don't know. She's not that hot, but I mean,
She's
for an
okay.
Indian girl,
Yeah, they're not a pretty people.
no.
At least it's not.
No, I don't know.
So then, Mindy, Mindy.
What do you say?
I'm taking her over Jamie Lee Curtis any day of the week.
Well, and what's
She's
the
not
name?
maybe
What's the name? Someone said something, but now they're not talking. All right.
It was Dragon. I don't know what he said.
It's Dragon. I don't know what he said either.
He was like,
I said at least it's not Mindy Kaling.
I don't know
God,
who that
yeah.
is.
You don't want to, trust me.
But see, I don't think.
Let's
I'm
see
not gonna
here.
say.
There's a
What the hell was
this
her name?
lady is pretty old, but when she was young, she was kind of nice. I don't know if you guys know this one. Yeah, this lady, Zhang. She's a bit older now, but I thought she was a pretty girl.
All right. I want to kick her
She's
out of
still
bed.
fuckable.
Yeah, no, she's one of the prettier Chinese ones, I think. As you can see here, she's a bit older now. But when she was young, she was pretty
The
hot.
standard ain't as bad.
What's the chick from Starship Troopers? What's her name?
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
No.
She was
The-
hot.
the new show. He's talking about.
No. From the movie,
no.
Starship Troopers. Come on, brain.
I don't know.
Come on, chat. Help me out. You know who I'm talking about. She also played Christmas Jones in the Bond movie.
Yeah. Denise Richards.
Denise Richards. Young Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
She was pretty. Yeah.
Not now.
Woo!
Yeah, I had a thing for her, but she got screwed up big time.
Yeah, she didn't just hit the wall. She practically became the wall.
Okay, I need to put the
Well,
image back.
she was-
I got
She
to
was
put
with
the
Char-
Let me help
She was
out
with
here.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Kate
Oh,
Upton.
then she's got diseases. All right.
Yeah, Kate Upton. Smoke show.
Kate, nah, man, she's all right. She's just got gigantic
You're
tits the size of
insane.
freaking watermelons.
You're insane.
Now, see the thing
That
with
was your same argument for Jamie Lee Curtis.
no, once again, that's his argument, not mine. But here's the thing with Denise. I would not put her in the pretty category. I'd put her in super cute category. Super cute.
Young Denise, I'd put her in any category it took to get in her pants.
And she was super cute, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just pick. Just what do you want to be in, sweetheart? Okay, yeah. Can we have sex now? Great. That'd be the argument right there.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't think I'd ever seen her as a blonde, and they got a couple things with her as a blonde in here. It's all right. I kind of prefer the brunette, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a complete waste of time. So,
what's her
trying to
name?
help out.
Lois Lane from the 90s.
Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher. Yeah. But
Another
I mean, of
Bond
course, there's a
girl.
lot of beautiful women. But just because they're not the most beautiful doesn't mean we have to kick them out.
Yeah.
Well, let's not.
How about Tara?
I mean,
Damn it, Grimlock.
there was some smoking hotties from the 40s and 30s too.
Oh well, goodness
Oh, yeah.
gracious! There's always been beautiful women. Yeah.
For
And-
the arrogance these Hollywood fucks have been having for the last 15 years, if you're not that fucking hot, fuck out of here.
Well, 80s Hillary Clinton. Dude, to be fair, Booster, when she was young, she was very attractive lady, Hillary Clinton.
She's cute.
Boo
girl,
this
yeah.
man. Boo
He's
this
evil.
man.
Don't boo
To
me.
her
Go
house
back
brings
and
up-
look at her when she was young. She was cute, dude. She was definitely cute.
House brings up Kelly Kapowski.
I don't know who that is.
Yep,
Saved by
Kelly
the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Yep.
Yeah, I luckily missed that. I was too old to watch
Every
that.
child of the 80s that grew up and became a preteens.
That was their
Miss
girl.
Lark before she ruined her face.
Hmm
Yeah. The chick who plays
Starlight
Starlight
Tip.
now before she ruined her face. Good
Yeah,
lord.
Yeah,
God, that's so sad.
Mm.
Dude, I've seen so
Yeah,
many of these
exactly.
young actresses just ruin their face. It's like, you're not that old. What are you doing? Megan Fox was a smoke show, right?
Bro, the crazy
What did
thing
she
about her
do to
ruining her
herself?
face is that character in the comic has an arc where she goes through that kind of stuff. And
Yep.
it's like a commentary on celebrities like doing that type of
Talk
stuff
about
for
substance.
yeah,
Mm.
it's
Starlight.
insane. I'm talking about Starlight.
Right.
There's a story arc where she goes through like plastic surgery and stuff because
She
they're
was
telling her
cute,
like
Mister.
she's not trending well and stuff.
Yeah.
So for the actual actor to do that is nuts.
Yeah.
He
'Cause
literally had
it's
the face that men
it's
kill for.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
whoever that girl that plays Starlight is, that was stupid. You're just
Yes.
a dumb person. Megan Fox is another one, which I mentioned already, but I'll mention it again because, to be fair, I think Megan Fox, not when she was just a young, what was she, 20 or something? She was in Transformers. And she was just she was like a skinny thing, but she was beautiful face, right? Very beautiful woman.
Definitely
Uh,
skinny.
but now, after she cut her face up, she looks horrible. You can see all the cuts. It's a horrible
Oh
skin
yeah,
job,
yeah.
dude. But it's sad because she's done her other due diligence. Her body is one of the best in Hollywood. That girl has kept herself in incredible condition. She's athletic. I mean, good for her, right? I mean, it's your job, right? Your body is your job in Hollywood, right? So, I mean, good for her doing that. But why did you cut your face up like that? Jeez, man. And every role she takes now, she's like some kind of dominatrix. Is that her thing now? Is that what's
Yeah,
up?
she's weird.
Unbelievable.
She's the one that had a ring with her blood in it when she was married to. Is she still married to that loser?
I
can't
don't know,
remember.
but it's the same thing that who is that weirdo that Brad Pitt married?
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, she had a vial of blood around her neck all the time too. It's a Hollywood.
Yeah,
These Hollywood people, dude.
They're into they're
I
into
They're bad.
remember.
straight
I
up
remember
blood
seeing
rituals.
her. Yeah, definitely. I remember seeing her in Hackers. I had a friend that had a
She is
major
really thin.
crush on her in that movie.
Which one?
Mm.
Hackers.
How about?
Oh, was that Megan Fox?
Oh, you know that movie.
No, that was Angelina Jolie. It's
Angelina.
like,
Yeah,
Mm.
she had her moment where she was kind of cute. The problem with
definitely.
Angelina is she's just not a good actress. She's not strong. All she really has is her looks, you know. Now she's not a horrible actress, but she's just not memorable, dude.
I think you should look at the classic Star Trek girls because there's some pretty good looking girls in that cast.
No, there were.
That's
There were.
true.
Yeah. Actually, the girl that played V'ger, or the voice of V'ger, even bald, she was smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I got to go to work. But that was fun.
Just to go to work.
And we can talk
Gosh.
about pretty girls again. Hopefully, we'll start seeing them on TV and movies again. That would be nice.
We're already starting to. They're coming back. They're coming back, boys.
Yeah, I've been noticing some change in that area.
They're coming back.
Yeah.
No
And here's the
more
thing.
ugly lumps.
Right, but I mean,
television.
what's wrong with enjoying beauty, though? I mean, honestly, what the hell's wrong
It's
with it?
evil, right wing, and racist, Chester.
I guess,
God.
but I mean, it's
What's wrong
not
with
like
you?
we're
Why aren't
ever
you a
going to.
decent human being like me who likes to look at ugly fat bitches all day? Huh?
Well, the thing is, it's
Well-
not like you think you're ever going to get with them. That's not the thing. You're appreciating their beauty from afar, right? What's wrong with that?
No, it's the same as like a guy admiring like another guy that works out because he works out and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
shit, yeah, dude.
there's nothing wrong with that. That should make you inspired to try to change yourself even.
To be, that's a very good point. And like, there's this idiot YouTuber, Instagram TikToker guy, that he's a moron. He's going to fight Mike Tyson and probably die. But what's his name?
Jake Paul.
Logan
Jake-
Paul.
Logan
No,
Paul.
Jake.
One
No,
of the
it's
one of
Jake.
the
Oh, it's
It's
Jake.
Jake
Logan
Paul.
is the
Jake
brother.
Paul. Okay,
Jake
that
Paul.
guy. Well, he's put
Maybe-
himself in amazing shape, dude. I mean, good
Oh
for
yeah.
him. I mean, goodness
Maybe
gracious.
maybe he's not exactly the smartest guy in the world, but he did go for Trump, and he had very good, valid reasons for it. So
Yeah, no,
he's
that's all well and good. I'm just talking about you mentioned dudes that get in shape. That dude
no,
really put himself in shape. That's awesome.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, his transformation's inspired.
it is, dude. It is inspired. Is he the one that's jumping around the WWE as well?
No,
No,
that's
that's
his
Logan.
brother.
His brother.
Logan.
That's
Brother.
another dude who put himself in shape.
He
Those
put
those
himself in
boys.
good shape too.
And
Both of
he's
those guys.
ridiculously good at wrestling. It's annoying
Yeah,
how good he is. It's
ridiculously
like he's been
good.
doing it for 15 years, and he just
It's
stepped in and just
insane.
good.
He's basically gone in and showed him how to do things. Like it's like the new guys.
You know
I
another.
mean, there's
Oh, go ahead.
a bunch of good ones, but he just man. I thought like when I first heard he was in there, I was like, this is ridiculous. Why are they giving this guy a shot? And then I watched some matches with him, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay,
No, he
I'm
can move,
sold.
dude. He can move. That's true.
He
There's
can
another.
sell it too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
play.
Well, he's been kind of entertaining people online for years, right? He's got the
Yeah,
experience.
that's true.
He's got the reps in. Another person talking about just absolutely killer bodies and the amount of work it took to get that. Who doesn't get the credit is Jason Statham, dude.
Oh yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the cut on that guy? My God, he's got muscles I didn't even know existed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, incredible shape that guy's put himself in, and he keeps
Ain't a
himself
young
there.
dude either.
What do you say?
I mean, I said he ain't a young dude either.
No, but I mean, good on him, dude. I mean,
I
geez.
mean, honestly, I'm gonna say that RFK is another one. I saw him and I'm like, damn, I want
Did
to
you
be
see how
that
many?
when I'm that
You see
age.
how many pull-ups he did?
Yeah.
Shit, I mean, I don't even think I could do 5 right now. I'd be sweating my balls off trying to do 5.
Well, pull-ups to do them correctly is it's not an easy task.
No,
That's
it's
for sure.
not. But I mean, I football player did them all the time. But I'm just saying, I don't even think I could do 5. And that guy's 20 years my senior.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It is nuts, yeah.
That's inspiring right there. When you see
It
a
is.
guy that age and he's that cut,
I can still do the push-ups and the sit-ups though. I can still do them.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Although I hate them. Particularly the sit-ups. Those suck, dude.
I do them in my bed. Makes it a lot easier on the
Yeah.
back, because that's where it really hurts me is my back. Been down on the
Yeah,
floor.
that's true. That's true. That's why they say do crunches instead. But yeah.
I've been doing inverted or like upside down crunches, like
Oh no.
not completely upside down, but
I've
like
heard of those.
at
Yeah, I've
a
never done
at
those.
an angle. Yeah, they're rough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they are. For me, when I was working out, I tried to avoid those painful ones, and I would just do like squats and bench press and curls
Well,
and stuff like
the
that.
logic behind it is if you're building the muscle that's at the lower part of your abs, because that's what that's doing when you're
Yeah, yeah,
crunching
yeah,
upside down.
yeah. No,
You're
it's
going to
good.
build the muscle that's
Uh,
above that
no,
too.
I get it. I'm just lazy.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
know. It's
Yeah.
hard to do. It's hard to find the motivation. I've been pretty consistent in working out, like lifting and stuff like that. But the crunches is one of the things that I've got to get back into, like habitually doing, like I
yeah.
used to, or abs workouts in general.
They are good for you.
I used to
Yeah.
do like a ab workout from YouTube every morning or every other morning.
Yeah, no, there's some good ones, man. YouTube's handy that way. But for
No,
me,
very.
I've been for well over a decade. I get up every morning, I have myself some coffee, and then I run up the mountain, push on my rock, do the isometric stuff, and then come back down. And it's kept me fit
That,
enough.
that's good stuff. Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
stuff. It's just like dragging a sled or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's not much. I don't do calisthenics. I don't go run for an hour, but it's just like a 30-minute thing. But dude, it keeps me fit enough.
I'll tell you another like good mix up for me is we have several different versions of this, but it's fitness boxing on the Switch.
Hmm.
That's that'll get you sweating hard
Oh no,
if
dude.
you
Those Nintendo
they're
products
insane.
are great, man. I remember when
They're
the Wii came
insane.
out. That was awesome.
I have one my sister brought to me during her recent visit. She brought me one, and I didn't even know this thing existed, but it's literally like themed as Fist of the North Star. So
Yeah.
part of the game where you're punching guys as well as trying to, work out essentially. And it's fun. It's a fun way to like work out.
Yeah.
But have a goal at the end of it too, not just working out.
Well, no, I mean, especially for older dudes, any of the older dudes in here that are hearing me, because I'm an older dude. If you go in and just you don't have to do so much, but you want to get your blood moving every day, especially for an
Oh, yeah,
older
definitely.
guy, because one of the problems that, they have that little blue pill for is because your blood flow sucks. That's what the
Yeah.
problem is. If you go on out and you do just a little bit of exercise, get that blood moving, keep that blood moving, you're fine, dude. You're fine.
There is literally exercises you can do to that part of your body to increase your blood flow.
Yes.
Oh,
They
really?
exist.
I didn't know that.
Yep. It's
Yeah, there
very
is.
simple stuff too. It's just basically rubbing downward on it over and over again will open
Yeah,
up your
yeah.
veins and open up
Oh, really?
your arteries and stuff and just
Mhm.
solve most of those problems. Most of it is just the reason why that's such a problem now is because one, people get way too fat, and
Yeah.
two, we sit too much. We
Yeah,
sit all the time.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
causes constriction down there, and there you go.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
it's
Just
constricted,
get
you
up,
just have
move
to
a little bit.
unconstrict it.
When you have a chance, and this is great for me in Japan. When you have a chance, take the stairs instead of the elevator. I mean, unless you're going to like 20th floor or something. But
Yeah.
if you only got a couple floors to go, use the stairs, man.
Yep.
Yeah, take your time. But yeah, I mean, it's not hard. But a little bit of exercise is good for you. For sure.
Chester, are you ready to get out of here or
Oh
what?
yeah. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be out of here 10
What
minutes
are
ago.
you doing?
I gotta go. All right. Well,
He's
I
gonna
was
go,
enjoying my
procrastinate.
conversations. Yeah, I was thinking about Angela Bassett.
You get to speak Japanese for the rest of the day.
I do.
Knock it off, Whitey.
All right. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you all next week. Later.
Bye.
Night.
Namaste.